what this is. If this story is exactly the way Suji has said it, this is what it is. This is high-handedness of governors. So it calls back to the issue of immunity for governors. That if the governors can be getting into huge contracts, that a disagreement is bound to happen in contract, it is high time we look at the immunity clause for governors so that we can sue the governor directly on issues where you've had contract agreement and disagreement. Because in contract, there will be a disagreement. There's even a column called variation. You can go back and say, Your Excellency, this thing, it's not the way we look at it. Cement is not like this, nail is not like this, because of this, because of that. There's a variation of 1.5 billion. And the governor cannot say, this variation, we cannot pay 1.5, we'll pay you 900. Then you go back and see how you can work on your calculation. But this level of EFCC declaring him wanted, Sujimoto does not have a record that is a flight risk. For me, it is just being too high-handed. That's why I'm saying that if the story is the way Suji has told it, that there are no other issues that has not been made public, this is being unnecessarily high-handed on the side of the Enugu state government. This is an issue they could have easily resolved. Sujimoto is not a small person. For the governor to know Sujimoto, I'm sure there's some kind of personal connection to that young man. So this matter can easily be resolved, either through phone call or through meetings, over a dinner, over a lunch, and this issue will be easily resolved. Using the EFCC in this way, declaring him wanted, for me, this is high-handedness, and it calls to question, it's time we review the immunity clause of governors. Governors need to be sued and countersued on issues like this. That's my opinion on this, Akin. Hello, Akin. Hello, Akin. Can you hear me?
I'll let you go. So let me take the next few speakers.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So I'm just taking more people. So Sam, let me have you go. Let me have you speak, and then I'll get back to the last speaker.
Yeah, thank you, Akin. How are you doing? I actually took time out to go listen to the video before I make my submission. And there's no controversy in this case. It's a very clear issue. And I think it's an issue in which we can learn from, I don't think the issue is the inflation in Nigeria. I don't think that's the issue because it happens. Nigeria, there's that trend already in Nigeria. Things are going to be going up. We know that, and he knows. I mean, if you notice when we're saying it, he has his own vision, his own niche market, which is building cities and tall buildings, right? And that's what actually took him to Enugu to build 69 story building. So he knows what he wants. However, this is where the problem has started. It was deviated from that focus into, help us build school. And he also analyzed building these schools. I have nothing to do with. I mean, I don't have expertise in it. This is a different scope. This is impossible. The price does not make sense. He already knows. But based on, of course, politician, based on the promise of, okay, suffer now, I will give you a better tomorrow. So suffer with this project, I will give you a bigger project. So he now went in, and that's where things got sour. So I believe he was planning to, okay, let me burn my resources on this, or let me just have a very, very low margin, 2%, 5% in this particular government school project, and do what I am used to. But in the process of doing that, perhaps they were not written. I'm just assuming, were they scope giving? Were they written agreement to protect him? Even though he's going to get a miserable margin, 2%, 1%, or 0%, but did they really protect itself based on contractual agreements and scope of work? Because if you listen to the video, the issue of 7,000 cement to 10,000 of men, in fact, that 7,000 was even recent. It actually started from 3,000 before cement went to 7,000, before it went to 10,000. So that trend, there's no contractor in Nigeria today that will tell me doesn't know that it's going to be crazy. They need to create buffer for that madness. That is one. He talked about accidents, of course, hazardous situation in work environment. He talked about staff security. Absolutely, with the craze of security in Nigeria today, when we even, especially in the southeast, when we have this unknown gunmen, you know you are going to bump up security, and you're still going to add that into your project. So I think most of the things he said is actually a reality in today's Nigeria. I think it's something we need to learn from. I don't want us to crucify him or crucify Enugu state government in this, but rather we as contractor or salespeople, we need to learn from this issue. And one of the things that we need to learn is our contracts. How solid are they? Are we? Because government today in Nigeria, we want to do a fixed term fixed cost contract. They are transferring the risk to you, the developer. You'll be a fool in Nigeria to do a fixed. I mean, if it's a short duration, yes, fixed term contract is okay. On that 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, you can deliver it. But if it's a long-term contract that we expand to 1 year, 2 years, you'll be a fool to do any fixed term contract in Nigeria today. You'll be a big fool as a developer. You will lose miserably. So I think then we have to now look at what are the contract terms we are having with these people. We have to protect ourselves. It's a lesson curve. We have to learn from it. But the other issues of 7 to 10,000, That was predictable. Accidents, staff security, predictable. Price increase, predictable. You also talk about stress in another project. So, one, he does not have the expertise in this. He does not have the expertise in this Tente Cover project, which is fine. And he had greater projects he was doing, but yet he was shuttling between both projects. Maybe he could have given this my project to one of those small boys. That's okay. I do this while I focus on the bigger one. I'm just trying to assume, but it's something we need to learn from. That contract is not easy. And somebody was just talking about Nigeria. As I speak to you, I'm currently adding a project. We have a fight with the clients. And what's the fight? We bought transformer from Canada, and that transformer was bought when Donald Trump put tariff. Who is paying for the tariff now? Is it with the developer or is it the owner? That is a big fight now, but nobody envisaged that now. So there are a lot of things that will happen in the course of contract, but make sure you have your contingent funding well intact. Make sure you have some clauses that gives you some exclusion from those things, that when things happen, both you and the owner will share the risk. Sharing risk is a very major issue in contracts. I yield the mic for now.
Sam, thanks. Listen, that's why when I initially started this space, I just had to wet the floor and let people know that if you are not in this arena where you are exposed to the weather, you won't understand the madness involved. And yes, everything you said with clauses in a contract, Suji is very disciplined, right? Because I probed and I asked these questions, and page upon page upon page, there were clauses for contract disputes and resolutions, and they took all of the routes in the contract using the legal frameworks that were carved in. They went to court. Goal was, or the outcome from the courts were, if you would terminate work, you would refund, and what is the schedule for refund? And that agreement was reached. How EFCC comes knocking on the door, I said it earlier, executive overreach. And that's where, again, as a country, if I'm a businessman, if I'm an entrepreneur, and Suji has been inviting me to come and invest $50 million, build the tallest hotel in Lagos to put Nigeria on the map, or, compete with an architectural masterpiece somewhere, I'm going to say, hell, fuck no. I'm not coming. And we need to be careful when we propagate these stories and everybody just jumps on a trend and we all love bad news and, oh yeah, this Suji guy, this person, that person, wow. It could be that plot of land next to you that somebody is walking away from, because we want to make sure that we assess all these transactions and truly understand where things stand. I tweeted something the other day. I did not even know that a staff of LVMH, Louis Vuitton Company, follows me on LinkedIn and dropped me a message. I say, oh, I saw your tweet. Somebody forwarded me your tweet on why Louis Vuitton or Gucci will not open stores in Lagos. And it's like you exist in our corporate boardrooms. Everything you said is spot on. I'm just saying. So this gra woo anyhow type of legal process we adopt in Nigeria is not good for the country, because people are watching from the outside. So those things that are tiny luxuries to you, you cannot enjoy in Nigeria because there's a tiny conversation somewhere or transaction that just turns people off. Anyways, let's take Mr. D. Mr. D, go ahead.
Yeah, like I can hear. So I'm following for a while. So, like you were saying, unless you're in the climate, you don't understand what's going on. Luckily for me, like, so basically we have a business in Nigeria, in Enugu. We manufacture pharmaceuticals. It's a big business, around 500 employees or so. So I also grew up in the US, so I also have a residence in America. So people don't understand how bad Nigeria is. This is the only country you can wake up and, like, I'll give you a scenario that almost killed us. Like 2 years ago, I think 2023, towards the end, dollar was around 770 or whatever. We opened some LCs to import some goods from China. We partnered with the bank to bring the goods in. I was like, okay, its total value was about $500,000. I was like, okay, $500,000 times 700, about 250 million naira. No wahala, let's bring it. By the time they got the goods ready, they shipped it from China. When the goods now came, for like around March, to clear the goods, dollar was 1,480. That is crazy. There's no other country in the world you can plan. In Nigeria, you can't budget, you can't plan. In the US, businesses can do a 10-year projection of revenue. Nigeria, you can't project anything. The year projected revenue, I took a loss. You can project 1 billion revenue and profit, and you have 1 billion loss because of FX. So for people that do business, where we literally import everything from abroad. The FX thing is killing. So yeah, I'll give a scenario. So the goods came. We said okay. They did the deposit. The bank put some money in. I put some money in. We paid China. We brought the container. Now I was watching dollars. This is wahala. By the time the goods came, so now pay the balance and clear the goods. Wahala began because then dollar was 1,004. We're still owing like $300 against 1,000. Just imagine that. Your mind, my mind is already set. I've already even sold some of the goods coming to customers at the price I priced it. You can't imagine a customer you pricing your goods at 700 or 750, and then magically, just in the space of 4 months, the goods land at 1,400 and something. Doesn't make sense. That was a complete loss. We had to now go and borrow money basically while the goods are sitting in a container in the ports. We have to go and go and mortgage properties to give bank to expedite a quick loan. And another thing, Nigeria, they want arm and leg. This is the only country that'll give you a loan at 35% and one collateral that's 200% of what you're getting. This doesn't make any sense. In the US, you can have it like Akin knows. In US, you can have a good credit score. You can go to the bank and get money. I have credit cards that have $50,000 limits and I have no collateral.
Is it me or Akin? Did we lose Mr. D?
I can't hear him anymore.
Yeah, I can't hear him anymore.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead now. We can hear
Yeah,
you.
can you hear me?
I can hear you.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, we lost you for like the last 2 minutes.
Yeah,
Last
sorry.
minutes. Yeah.
Sorry. And I was just trying to explain that can you hear me now? Is it clear? I was just trying to say, unless you're
Yep.
exposed to the climate, yeah, you won't know, understand.
I think we lost him again.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we lost him. Let's take Sarah. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi guys. Greetings everybody. So
Yes, go
can
ahead.
you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you.
Oh great. I think for me, I just want to chip in a few things. And I'd like to really say I think this whole issue begins and ends with the contracts. That is where for me this entire issue lives and dies. In any serious environment, because I wouldn't say the Nigerian environment is a serious one. A government contract is not a handshake. It's not something people just do over beer or drinks or champagne. It's a binding agreement that, I mean, covers a lot of scope, risk, especially when it comes to Nigeria, risk and responsibilities for both parties. And in the case of this Suji one, sad scenario, apparently, with Enugu, the foundation, I think, looks very shaky from the start, from when I saw Suji's video and all. Suji, going by even what we all know, Suji is not inexperienced. It's not as though he's a newbie or a new person in this industry. He has a reputation already in luxury real estate and all. But moving from building, some you guys even mentioned here, building private residences, banks, and all, to a public school or smart school, as Enugu calls it, is obviously not the same terrain. And as such, going by what the speaker had said on the space that ended, the contract absolutely should have demanded a lot of risk planning on his end. And all. I'm a supply chain person. We do procurement. I run a procurement and freight forwarding company from China into Nigeria. And with exchange rate issues that we deal with daily, I know you must understand that things would always shift. Akin had mentioned it at the beginning of the quarter. He was doing stuff, I think, on a 6-hour or 24-hour basis with his staff. We do this on our firm as well. We're sending you an invoice. We're letting you know it's only valid until there's a change. You would know we are not all blind to changes. We see when these things shift. And as such, what safeguarding measures, because unless maybe Akin would come and tell us, what safeguarding measures did Suji put in place regarding issues around cement? He's not a new buyer in the business of cement. What safeguarding measures were put in place between him and the state? I know, because from all indications, we are not getting those questions answered. And all. It's almost someone could literally look at this as government patronage. If certain indicators are not put out there that, oh, this was X, this was Y, this was, unless perhaps maybe lawyers will let us know for legal reasons, this thing should not be in the public domain. I know. Contractors now complaining on the photo Akin, I think, has shared, complaining that, oh, dollar moved from X to Y. We are not new to this. Exchange rate volatility is almost a predictable spectrum in Nigeria. If it's not even the number, but the trend, we're all aware that the trend is, as of now, we're witnessing 1,520, 1,530. Election cycle may come and it may jump to 1,7 or before that. So a well-negotiated contract, I feel, was not done here. And it is almost because there's something, there's a word I can use that I'll borrow. Whether this is what one would call political entrepreneurship in this regard. Did Suji play himself into stuff like this? And all? Because again, as a procurement person, I believe he also has a procurement person. In my firm, we are clear. There's variance clauses. There's mechanisms to hedge on these things. There's proper cost adjustments on these things. Without that, you are literally gambling. Or you are literally just playing to the gallery with the governor. And also, I really do think that while we are absolutely saying that executive overreach was done here, given Akin mentioned the lawyer visited the EFCC, I don't understand why his mugshot is now all over the place. It makes no sense. I know. But again, Sujimoto could have perhaps, there are maybe certain things he would need to go back to the drawing board and see how he could have done right. I know, with a project like this. I know, and I don't know if it's also maybe a space like this we should address the issue of Enugu as a state looking to be, I don't know what these smart schools are, because from what I saw as news, these were schools that were being built for 1.3 billion naira per project. I've not seen the architectural work on it. Because there's a news out there that says Sujimoto and the state partnered for over 420 billion, while each of these schools are to be built for 1.3 billion. I know. Is it just a flashy project? What were the foundations? Enugu is missing the basics. I was in Enugu last year. Enugu is missing the basics, and then they are prioritizing smart schools for 1.3 billion naira. So I'm really quite amazed by some of the things happening in Nigeria. And that's what I want to say, guys.
All right, so can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? All right, so
Yes, I can.
you are not far off. Just a few things. As you know, smart school projects is not actually a state-funded project. It's actually funded by the World Bank, but we'll come back to that again, because when we start peeling these onions, right, there's just a lot of anyhowness in Nigeria, from the cost, approved by World Bank to build the schools, to what they even hand off to the contractors, right? I don't want to make this a space where, we start talking about numbers or, discussing shady deals, but if you know how these entities operate, you already know where I'm getting at. But we'll come back to that. And I hope Suji finds the strength and the courage to really pursue this thing and just dagbo as we say in Yoruba. Because at some point you just have to do it. You're gonna go as far as destroying a man's name, you may as well just piece on the wall and say, okay, let the piece touch everybody's head. But I mean, Suji is too much of a gentleman to again. That's why I will never find myself in kind of space. But God bless people that do. Let's take another speaker. Go ahead, Otumba. I don't know if you want to come in.
Well, no, I think Odoy has his hands up. Let him go ahead.
Okay, Otumba, if you're not there, Odo, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Akin, can you hear me?
Odo, go ahead.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon. Good evening. Yeah, I watched the video. It's a single story. We have not seen the petition of EFCC, from EFCC, from the petition by Enugu State Government. So we'll run our more if we start analyzing the discussion per se, because we don't have all the full discussion as it were. The full facts will not be present for us, so we don't hear the story. The story of Mr. Suji is quite very funny for me, and funny to the extent that you understand Nigerians are actually emotional people. Who can say Nigeria is not a good country to make business? I don't agree 100% on that. Especially on this case. Nigeria is not the reason. Somebody who is doing projects of this magnitude should have a legal department where the contracts and government department in Justice Department will look at all these things, all the variables, all the variations, all the challenges that may naturally occur or by human factor will be put into consideration, right? So when he is crying on this stuff, he will like making us look as if we are stupid people as a country. Two, EFCC will not just declare you a wanted, not by mistake. EFCC will not do so. That's not how the modus operandi of EFCC is. They will notify you that there is a petition against you, right? And they will give you time to appear for the petition. They will not easily arrest you unless you are creating something that is arrestable or something that will make somebody to create that kind of you become a problem to them or something like that. But they will not easily arrest you. So you go there and present your case. If they're able to establish that there's a cause of action against you, that's when they will go to court. They can't even go to court if there's no cause of action against you. They need to investigate. They have investigators who will investigate and submit the file to the legal department. So if the legal department look at there's a case to answer, they'll answer you. So when somebody say, oh, they just want to destroy his name, you destroy your own name with your own hand, my Oga. Your hand destroy your game. Nobody will destroy your game before you. His language was even very damning that the governor told him to do this one and they should not eat and they will continue thereafter. Then when you will do big one. That is just putting your egg on the air. Anything can fly around it. So I feel very well that he's actually the full fact is not complete here, but I think very well that a businessman must understand his onus very well. First, it's not Nigeria. First, it's not Nigeria by mistake. It's not Nigeria by any imagination. It is his problem, and he needs to take responsibility for his own problem. We can easily say Nigeria. As a lawyer, as a department, as a engineer, when they do big projects like this, at least there are some young lawyers who will put in that place, and you will not pay them very well. You will pay them reasonably, and you can easily get this thing done. They will look at it with their other legal eyes, legal lenses, and they will tell you that there are challenges here. And it is not less for you to say, oh, we can do political maneuvering. That's your problem. But you need to tell us what is your, because like Mr. Sarah said, what is the contract, first of all? Because the contract speaks for these projects. Because for government to give you any project, there must be some kind of contract to enter. You want to build a particular building. Okay, government is allocating government fund to you to do something. There must be some level of contract you have entered with the government. So it is not you that will speak, it's the contract that will speak. So when he said they arrested him, they petitioned him, he went to this thing, he said, let's look at the book. What book are you looking at? Look at the contract. You look at the contract. If there are variations to the extent that if there are issues of inconsistency in level of, like somebody said, dollar naira or price of things are going up or whatever it is, there are variations on the contract that will accommodate such experiences. You get the point? Even as the governor, that is the current governor that is here now, he can come in and say, I want to renegotiate the contract. I think very well that the contract that was negotiated earlier was done in bad faith or was done with not putting everything into consideration. Now I'm coming in to review the contract. You can still have such such clause in the contract to review the contract. So if contract want to run for 5 years, and you know very well that nothing will stand certain parade policy for 5 years. So what would you going to do? You say no, that is not telling us truth. First of all, it's for Nigerians who are actually very emotional people, which is fine. We go for the emotional people, which is what makes us human being. But sometimes we have to use our head. Why is he crying? First of all, you have to declare you wanted. Why is he crying? Are they killing you? They will not beat you. They will not kill you. The least they will take you they will take you to court. And when you go to court, you still get your bail. You go home and come back from you get your lawyers going there. So why is he talking about? He should wait to get his lawyers and go in the EFCC. At least by now, he should wait to be at the EFCC office with his lawyers. So I'm not guilty. I don't understand what your guys are saying. Then your lawyers are there to listen to you. If they keep you there 48 hours, they have left you. That's the honest truth. 48 hours, they will leave you to go home. So that's honest truth. If you can get the bail condition met and everything, you go home. And before they finally make application before court. So why is it somebody's crying? There's no reason why he's crying. So it's not Nigeria, please. Let's not call and say Nigeria. This is not Nigeria. This is personal negligence. And like Mr. Akin said, it's political entrepreneur or political preneur, whatever language or phrase you use it for. It is what it is. So let's not say I'm aware of all these things talking about, but I'm aware that there's a legal procedure you must follow. As much as you're doing hanky-panky games, you're able to follow it with the law. Because you're dealing with human beings. If human being changes tomorrow, what will you do? You say it is devil. No, it's not devil. It's your own negligence. It's your own negligence. So he has a case to answer. There's no emotional anything, no tribal discussion, no ethnic discussion. He has a case to answer, clear and full stop. Let's not make it look as if somebody will tell you that, oh,
okay. So Sam. So as I said earlier, they've gone to courts. They're
not going to court. They're not going to court.
No, hold on, brother. Don't say what you don't know now.
No, I know. That's what I'm telling you.
I'm giving you feedback that they have got.
Baba, they cannot do so like that. They don't do so like that. They will give the petition first. Listen now. That case to court immediately. That's how they work.
I hold on now. Listen. When there's a contract dispute, there's a clause in the contract for resolution. They've gone that route.
This is a criminal dimension already. That's why you have to
listen now. No. Hold on. This is not fair. Let's not do this.
It's not fair. Let me come here.
And I don't do propaganda. Okay, if I don't have facts, I won't speak. They've reached a settlement for refund. Now we're talking about executive overreach and high-handedness. Don't now from Zamfara jump to Abia and say it's a criminal possession of state funds or obtained by illegal means or all the language that EFCC comes up with. Like bro, let's stop promoting impunity, man.
You're not correct too, my brother. You're not correct too, first of all. EFCC is doing their job. What is their job?
They're not doing their job. Listen, the contract. Listen. No.
You're not correct.
It's people like you that will spoil this contract.
You're not correct, my guy.
Listen.
You're working with wrong information with your head, make up on your own. That's fine. But that's not the procedure of EFCC. So you can't even know the procedure. No, you don't know it.
Listen. If you've gone to court with your lawyer and the state government's lawyer and you reach an outcome,
yes.
Why are you them? What
happened to the outcome? That's the
It's for payment. It's for payment.
No, that's not it. That's not it. You don't have. That's it. You see why I tell you?
No. Let me hear. Then what is it? Let me hear you.
You see, my first statement here was you can't hear from one party and run home and say that's the case. You have not seen the petition of EFCC first of all, right?
So what is EFCC's petition? Let me tell this.
Hold on.
Tell the space. Now listen. Listen. If you come, hold on. I don't disrupt my space. If you speak here,
you don't like to hear truth.
No. Listen, I will drop you one time. If you speak here, hold on. If you speak, listen. If you speak here, come with facts, and I'm not going off of hearsay.
You're not speaking with facts too. Are you accusing me of facts?
So what is EFCC's case? Let me hear it. Tell the space.
Hold on, please. Just listen and carefully listen. Even though in 30 seconds, listen. Now EFCC, if I have a problem with you, maybe on issues.
What is the EFCC case against Fuji?
Can you listen first of all?
No, don't speak in third person. Speak facts. Give me direct language from EFCC. What is EFCC's case?
Let me give you now. The Enugu state government have made a petition to EFCC regarding these persons and their business with him, right? Now, EFCC have called him to come to. There are issues against you. Please come and allay those issues. EFCC cannot declare you wanted if you did not come with the procedure, standard procedure. There's
so right now,
SOP. You cannot just do anything like that.
So right now you are reaching and you're just talking rubbish. First of all,
you see your
hold on.
Okay, no problem.
Listen, and I don't want anyone to walk away from here with misinformation. This is not the space for things like that. You can take that elsewhere. Let me just be very clear. Suji's lawyer was with EFCC yesterday and the day before. Okay? You cannot have my lawyer in a building and you are declaring me wanted via a publication.
You see your issue. They have started
No. Hold on. I'm giving you factual information. So if you cannot
is it disposable? Is it in the hospital? Is he sick that he cannot be brought to the hospital office? If he's writing that he will not be around because of his health or he has a challenge or he's not in the country, is a factor can put into consideration.
I'm sorry. Apologies. I don't drop people from my spaces, but I have to because this is
Can
how.
you hear me? I can hear
Yeah, I can hear you. This is how propaganda. No. Hold on. Let me set it. I'm not a propagandist on this app. I don't share rumors. I don't do toxic commentary. It is not my space. It's not my DNA. I will not even tolerate it. Okay? So if I give you the opportunity to share information and you're reaching without giving me factual information, this is a recorded space. There's nothing I'm saying here that cannot be turned down in court. Everything I'm saying is based on me looking at facts, first accounts, and I will repeat it. If I can't, I will not say a damn word. I will lock my door. I'll stay in my house. So don't come on a space. Somebody's in Sweden. We hear, oh, somebody said Suji refused to appear. That's why they pop. No, don't do that. If you cannot read me line by line from an EFCC petition, then fucking shut up. All right, let you speak. Go ahead, bro. I apologize, guys. I just don't like misinformation. It's not my thing.
Akin, there's nothing to apologize about. You did the right thing.
No, but wait, hold on. See, while Akin, you're right. What I guess Odoayo's point is, or what he was trying to make was, he was saying for EFCC to declare him wanted, EFCC wanted Sujimoto personally to come to the office, which he didn't.
So when they declared that Yahya Bello wanted, they don't know road to his house. Are you telling me this? No. See, listen, you know how I feel about this country called Nigeria. So nobody to make my blood get hot here.
I agree. Aki, I'm not arguing with you. I agree. I'm not arguing with you. I think you EFCC still there's a political twist here also in that case, because I've been trying to find what exactly is EFCC charging them and accusing them for. What they said was very broad. EFCC has not pinpointed and said this is XYZ. This is we have evidence of him diverting funds. They just said he diverted funds and did money laundering, which is very vague. Now I also know on Sujimoto's side. I don't, to me, whatever the contract terms were, like although I said he should have. He has a legal team. I do contracts. I do government contracts, so I know how those things work. Even though but mine is with the U.S. government. But we know how contracts work. So, but I think EFCC. We've seen cases of EFCC playing double standard. Also, we've seen them play that double standards where.
Okay, so you mentioned and I wanted hold on, bro. I wanted him to read from EFCC what Suji's offense was. You say money laundering, bro. As I'm talking to you on his phone, if you transfer my girlfriend 40,000 naira yesterday night, hold on. In this country called Nigeria, I can use that to drag you for money laundering. Are you aware?
Yeah, it's
absolutely. Now it's possible.
So let's not promote impunity, because this is why we have arrived at this junction called a dysfunctional country, a banana republic. Now, as I said earlier, Suji is my guy. Don't forget Suji's ordeals in court or his debacle or whatever saga he's going through. I'm just saying, you have a contract with the state government, and this is what I said. Why a lot of multinationals would not come and open business in Nigeria. If a governor's wife goes to buy Louis Vuitton bag and she wants reform because she wants a different color and they have the color, will you not carry SEC and arrest them and say, oh, they are money laundering? Bro, now let's draw the line. We're not mad people in Nigeria now. You're already in court. You've reached a resolution. Okay, this contract, your work and remove hand. We're not doing it again. I'll refund money. All of a sudden, EFCC is at my door. But now, governor's ego is bruised because you say you will not do it. Who are you? How dare you? That's what you're faced with in Nigeria. That's what's going on here. It's simply a pissing contest. It's a pissing contest. Did he prosecute the former governor of his state that may have embezzled funds with EFCC? Bro, I beg, make we talk. Let's even talk this thing here. Me, I don't do
Akim,
government work, so nobody can come after me.
Akim, it's okay. It's okay. Akim, it's okay.
Sorry, Aki.
Akim, it's okay.
I think you should not allow that guy get under your skin.
Exactly. The guy is making you to go outside.
The guy was, this is what Twitter has brought for all of us. You know, Twitter has become our village square where the absurd, the very absurd, the full spectrum have an opinion. I respect people's opinion, but yeah, the guy was making a lot of categorical statements. And for me, if you're making categorical statements, you need to back it up with direct facts so that the conversation can be very straightforward. So he was making a lot of bold statements. And when you probed further, he kept saying, oh, there are things I cannot say here. No, guy, you have no information.
Aki, I beg, can check your WhatsApp. Please don't comment. Just check your WhatsApp.
No, you know me. I'm just a para. I don't that hot sun. No, listen, I'm not provoked or anything.
Yeah.
No, please don't. You don't have to be provoked, please. On this issue, in what I said earlier, I said, if the story is the way Suji have said it, if there are no other issues that has not been made public, I will say this is just pure government overreach. Anarchy, to a great extent, you're right. This is Nigeria. It is a common thing here. If big man's ego is bruised, he will bully you with everything within his means. EFCC, police, DSS, army, navy, whatever, Amoteku self, if need be, right? So for me, the state government of Enugu State, this is an overreach. Suji is not on a flight risk, so this guy will run away or he has run away. You know, you have Suji's number, right? You've had meetings with Suji. I'm sure they've eaten amala or something somewhere in Enugu there, smiling together, clicking glasses and all that. So for me, it has not gotten to this where you have to now declare the man wanted, money laundry, diversion of fund. That is not the case. This is bad contact, right? And EFCC is common. They're always doing this. A friend of mine was into wood export. He was exporting wood to Vietnam and China. I was also doing that at that time. And what he did was he started marketing it as a business. I was using my own money to do that. So he will go, he will meet an Akin, bros, business deal, see, I'm now wood, though. This. The wood is there. He tells you everything. You give him money to do the wood. So this guy collected about $150,000 cumulatively from different people to export wood. When the Buhari administration came from nowhere, the first 6 months, Buhari put an embargo on wood export, right? Then the Chinese people that were buying wood, we saw them in Shagamu. We saw them in Nasarawa, in the bushes of Nasarawa, folding trousers, negotiating with cutters, Chinese. These are the guys that buy from us. They are not buying wood and stockpiling in Shagam during the same time that the Buhari put an embargo on wood export, right? Then the next thing, all that wood purchased by the Chinese, when it was offloaded into the Chinese market and the Vietnamese market, container of wood that were sold for $12K, $13K, you will be hearing an offer of 1.5, 2.5. At that moment, you've taken money from Akin. You've taken money from Akin. You've taken money from Maria. You've taken money from Kem, I see you. You know, now, you cannot go back and tell Kem that Buhari put an embargo. It has destroyed the price in the market. So this particular woman who gave this guy the largest of the bulk of money he had, about $40,000, took this guy to EFCC. And what did the EFCC say? Money laundry, collection of money under false pretense.
Obtaining of funds by false pretense.
Yes, that was what the EFCC declared this guy for. By the time they now got to EFCC office, I mean, this is a true story. The guy now said, I don't understand. False pretense, Bao. Madam, this is money you sent me in my account. I acknowledge. This is the return I gave you in the first shipment when things were good. This is my SMS to you. This is my WhatsApp chat with you telling you that, market don't spoil, Chinese, Buhari don't scatter market. So where is the false pretense here? Where is the money laundry here? So EFCC needs to stop this cliche statement they make, right? It's no longer making sense. If they are trying to do it to embarrass you so that you come, it's no longer working because you are creating an impression that is not true. If you say Sujimoto has done money laundering, false pretense, where is the evidence? The guy did a contract, a bad contract, and they've, according to Akin is telling us this now, that they've even come to an agreement for a refund. So where is the money laundering and false pretense coming from? So for me, that guy earlier was just making a blanket statement filled
No,
with
no,
ignorance
so
and
No,
listen.
so
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 first
so
of all,
so, so
no,
let
So,
me
no,
so let me
Otimba, hold on,
let me say something.
Otimba, hold on.
So let me ask a question.
Hold on.
A question. A
Guys, hold on,
question.
hold on. I want to just make sure we reset. Apologies, everyone. I don't drop people from the stage. I let people speak, and I want people to impress and share information. Now, if you can't share too much, because maybe you know too much, okay, it's one thing. But at least you can even give us a logical framework of why there is a charge in the first place, right? Secondly, we have an EFCC. I will say this, that if you pay your plumber money and he buys a different type of material to install galvanized pipe in your house, you can involve EFCC because they will charge him with an offense for obtaining money by false pretense. That is such a, it's cliche is not even the word. That's a civil matter. Take it to a civil court and let the judge award you damages plus refund plus whatever. But everything in Nigeria, the minute a big man can initiate an EFCC case, EFCC takes it. And we need to preserve the integrity of EFCC for things that truly matter. It's crazy, man. Let me say this to you. If you're a big boy in Nigeria, I'm saying on the space. If you're a big boy in Nigeria and you have a certain net worth and you have never had an EFCC case, it's a lie. You don't have net worth in that country. But let me tell you why, first of all. During the Buhari era, when they were not giving anybody dollars, NAFEX rate, and you're changing money with Aboki, you gave Aboki money, you need dollar. Friday evening, dollar is 1550. Aboki wakes up. Monday morning, dollar is 1565. Man, where's my 15 naira? You will not cheat me. They are running to the to open case to drag poor Aboki from front of a hotel that he's trying to swindle them. Everybody has a case at EFCC. What's even now worse? I can't get dollars from my bank, and I'm giving money to somebody that will give me dollars because he did oil and gas contract. He sends money to my FX account. That is money laundering to EFCC. In a country where nothing fucking works. It's frustrating, man. I'm an entrepreneur. I know why I suffer. So when I raise my voice and I'm emotional, it's because the pain I deal with every day. I have agencies like this that makes life difficult for entrepreneurs. I have some accounts that have left Nigeria. They say they not do again. Why? Innocent transactions, trying to fund their businesses. They brought money laundering case on their head. Because why? There's one partner that felt like, there was a 5 naira in the exchange rate, and the 5 naira, we should have spent that money. No, you're trying to cheat me, and everything is EFCC. How many governors have they prosecuted and jailed in the past 10 years? You can't show me one. Not one. So I'm just saying, I'm not raising my voice because I'm charged. Maybe it's just crawling under my skin. Anyways, if Odoya wants to come back on stage, please request a mic. I'll roll it around. Let's take the next speaker. Go ahead. Let's take, I think someone here that hasn't spoken. That is Khalid. Go ahead, Khalid. Mic is yours.
Thank you, Akin. Good evening, everyone. This is serious issue, Sha, but me, I don't want to dive into the
Khalid,
EFCC
please
part.
pick up to the mic.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I don't want to speak to the part of EFCC because there are a lot of questions there that are not answered. But the issue of the contract, that's where I'm more interested in. Because, I mean, as an engineer, or if the guy is an engineer, he should have gone through what they call law for engineers in his undergraduate. And if by any chance he went into project management, he would have done law of contract. And that should have guided him. I mean, someone operating at this level should have this basic knowledge of contracts. I should be assuming he knows all these implications because whenever you are going into a contract, I mean, you sign the contract, from your BME, you include your variations, and all that. You even go to the extent of including clauses that if it exceeds those variations you added within that contract, you still have that right to come and renegotiate variations what has happened within that time frame. But clearly, or from the information I have so far, I think they'll eat this guy for lunch. That's just basically it. That's just what is going to happen because I think from the contracts, from the clauses he included in that contract, from the variations, I mean, he got it all wrong. And I mean, no matter how emotional we want to be, we understand that we don't have a system that works in Nigeria, but then you have to protect yourself, especially when you are dealing with government. But that's not what happened. I mean, they went to stage of even resolution to conclude that he was going to do a refund, which has not happened, and maybe that was why they took him to EFCC. Now you go into this EFCC issue. I get where Odunayo was coming from because when you are dealing with EFCC, like the way they are supposed to operate, number one, they will have to invite you first for you to come give your own side of the story. For whatever reason, you did not come the first time. They will invite you three times. I don't know if they did that in this case or not, but they would invite you three times. If you did not appear on these three invitations that they gave you, maybe you send your lawyers or you have an excuse, maybe you are not feeling well, blah, 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 any excuse that you come with, they will still entertain that, provided you would present an evidence to whatever excuse you have. Maybe you are traveling out, you are sick, they will ask for a doctor's report and all that. And all these efforts fail, and that's when they will declare you wanted. I'm sure EFCC also knows that for them to declare you wanted without inviting you on three occasions and without any anything that is related to invitation, for them to declare you wanted in whatever case, even if that case, even if the allegations they mentioned were actually the same English that they use in inviting you, you can take them to court and claim for damages. I mean, reputation is not something that you just get overnight. This is someone that has worked for many years trying to build up his reputation and all this. This alone, you can take them to court and claim for damages, an apology and all that. So this goes back to education, like I begin with. And if we have any young engineers here or any people that want to go into contracts, these basic things that you don't even need. For me now, if I'm going into a contract with you or any government institution, this is basic knowledge that I know I have to include all these things that will protect my interests at the end of the day. Because you have to expect the worst. This is Nigeria you are dealing with, and you want to just go and drink tea and pictures, shake hands, and then you walk away. When the tables turn, and that's when you understand how important this simple knowledge, all these things we keep saying, school is calm, school is calm. These things are being taught in school now, even though maybe it might be on the surface, but then we have to take these things seriously and understand that this is evil we are dealing with and go to every extent to protect ourselves. So that's just my own. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Khalid. Akin, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, just thinking. So let's take Oliver. Go ahead. Macloon. Well, you're my brother. Go ahead. Mike is yours.
Oh, you want me to go ahead, Akin?
Yes, Macloon. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Good evening. So let me first introduce myself. So I'm a civil engineer and I'm also a contractor. And so I understand the way these things work perfectly. So when my wife was my wife that called me that EFCC has declared your friend wanted. I said, Sujimoto, what happened? Blah, blah, blah. So the first thing I told her was that if it's a contract dispute, what they want to do is to just embarrass him. Because unfortunately, the only thing that we contractors sell is reputation. And unfortunately for us, most of the contracts that we get are normally decided behind our backs. So they always call us just for negotiation. So they decide behind your back at the point where then I now looked at it. I saw money laundering. I said money laundering. Now I'm not going to speak for or against any contractor, but we know and we understand that so many contractors are also into money laundering for politicians, for private people, for all of those things. So I'm not going to really dwell on that. So I'm going to go into also there's a very thin line between contract dispute and contract fraud, and I put it on the timeline. Very very thin line, and I can speak from my own experience. So let me first tell you that first thing first, in contracts in modern times now, we have so many things to protect the contractor and also protect the client. So one very fundamental one that I would have asked Enugu State Governor, our government, and Sujimoto is that is this contract an APG backed contract? Is it an advance payment guarantee backed contract? And does it also have a performance bond? Now, what do these two things do? First is that if Sujimoto is the one, financing the contract from the beginning without collecting mobilization, then he should have collected an advance payment guarantee from Enugu State government. Now, if Enugu State government was the one, mobilizing him, advancing him first, maybe first payment, first milestone, whatever, mobilization, whatever they call it, then he would have submitted an advance payment guarantee to Enugu State government. So what's an advance payment guarantee? An advance payment guarantee, is a commercial bank backed guarantee. It's an instrument. That instrument says that if I am a contractor to Akin, and Akin is going to mobilize me 100 million naira, I am going to go to Zenith Bank and say, Zenith Bank, I am your customer. I've been doing business with you guys. Please come and back me up. Tell Akin that Akin, if you give this contractor money, if he runs away or doesn't do anything, Zenith Bank is going to pay. Now, so how does an APG work? Zenith Bank pays, Akin directly pays into an escrow account that is operated by that commercial bank that is issuing that APG. So first thing first, if there is an APG, there is no need for going to EFCC or even going to the courts. Now let me tell you why the APG is also now very risky for the contractor. I can sorry that I'm going to take a bit of time. Maybe because it's my profession and it pains me that
Go
yeah,
ahead.
No. You do well.
yeah,
You do well,
yeah,
Masno.
and it pains me that we'll go through a lot of things. So some people, you see that APG is on first call, which means that, for example, Aki can go to Zenith Bank and write to Zenith Bank and say, oh, I want to call on this APG because this contractor has not performed. Now, so many APGs now, they will tell you without recourse to the courts. Without, it's there. I'm going to send you some so that you will know personally what I'm saying. Personally, that I did. Without recourse to the court, one, some will tell you within 5 days of calling on the APG. That within 5 days, so the Akin will call on that APG, whether I have performed or not. The contractor, will now be the one having to go to the bank to be explaining, to be going to the court, and the bank is going to chase you because the APG is collateralized, it's securitized. So, for example, if you have an APG sum of 100 million naira, you must securitize it with assets, equaling 100 million naira. So it takes me back to the kind of contract that they have with the Enugu State government. Akin, I hope that you allow me to speak very freely. Sujimoto is your guy. He's also my own guy. We have a lot of mutual friends, a lot of mutual friends. But Akin, let me just speak objectively on this case. There
I don't
is
think Akin is going to gag you. Yeah, go ahead, man.
good. There is forward wewe in this deal. I'm not going to say beyond that. There is forward wewe
My
in this
brother,
deal.
can you interpret that? Can you expand on that point? Yeah, because
There is
me,
a
I don't
Masno,
handshake.
mute
understand
the mic.
Yoruba.
There is
I
a
don't
Masno,
understand
mute
Yoruba in
the
this case.
mic.
there
Mute
is
the
a
mic.
handshake. There is a handshake involved in this deal.
Mute the mic, Mike. No.
No, somebody, we'll see, we're analyzing. This is me giving my opinion of of a case that is in the public domain because of things. Number one, Sujimoto is one of the most experienced contractors that I have known. Sujimoto, services big clients, big commercial banks. Sujimoto does a lot of business with banks, with GT banks. Sujimoto, in fact, has had contract disputes in the past that could have thrown any contractor away that would never come out. And that's why I respect him a lot. And that's why I told my wife that they want to embarrass him. They want to embarrass him because he is not a novice in the game of contracting, whether with lenders, whether with customers, whether with clients. So there's no excuse. Now, going to the APG and then going to the performance bond. The performance bond is a bond that guarantees that you will perform that contract. Most times it is 10% of the contract sum, which means that if there's a non-performance on that contract, what Akin as the client needs to do is to also call on the performance bond. You call on your APG first, you call on the performance bond, and then the contractor has to be going helter skelter. Now, the downside of it also, and that's why I said that there's a very thin line between contract dispute and contract fraud. The downside of it is that I might have performed on the contract and Akin will still call on those two instruments. So it becomes very risky. Now, if I were in Sujimoto's shoes, and the funny thing is that we'll keep saying it that if I were in somebody's shoes, because we are not in the shoes. But if I were in those shoes, that matter wouldn't have escalated. Now, they've gone to mediation, and I'm sure they've gone to mediation, they've gone to arbitration, and there's been a settlement. Unfortunately, for even mediation and arbitration, you say when you do, because I have also done arbitration, I did one 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm going to give you an example. We did a project with a big company. I'm not going to mention their name because we're fighting, but I'm not going to mention their name. We did several contracts with them. They had several sister companies, and then we finished some contracts with one sister company A and sister company B. We had issue of price escalation, issue of additional works, approved by the engineering manager, approved by the CFO, approved by the MD, and the chairman declined to pay. Now, when we finish contract A with sister company A, we have like 5, 6 contracts with them. And then we're due for retention. Retention is that money that you take out from the contractor, like you said, it's like a defect liability period kind of money to say, okay, if after 6 months of delivering this contract, we don't have any problem, we'll pay you this money back. It's your money, but they will return it 5%, 10%. 2 years after we had completed that project, we didn't get the retention. And then I wrote emails, sent this in, spoke to my guys there, spoke to the MD, everybody, personal friend. Some of them are my neighbors, until we took them to arbitration, and then they got to court and said, we don't want wahala with Martin. Martin is a very troublesome guy. We will pay. And then part of the settlement, I hope you are listening. Part of the settlement was that your dispute and claims with us in Sister B, you will raise it. If you raise it, we're not going to settle with you. We went on 2 months after the judge had said, okay, you guys go and do a settlement, and you bring the settlement. So the settlement becomes like a judgment. 2 months back and forth. The money was big. I was broke. I needed money. I forwent, I before gone for go. The other one, which was times 5 of what I was claiming for. So my advice to Sujimoto is first thing first, go and meet the EFCC people with your lawyer. I find it very preposterous that they are declaring him wanted. If his lawyer is there, I find it extremely preposterous. That's one. Number 2, I find it extremely preposterous that you are taking a civil contract dispute to EFCC. Unfortunately, I have also been a victim. People have taken me to zone 2. They took me to zone 2 numerous times. Akin, please, let me say something. Sometimes when petitioners, as Mabino Akinjo, when petitioners are petitioning EFCC and Nigerian Police Force on contract disputes, Baba, the way they petition it, let me give you my own story. So this woman who's done a lot of business, Mabinu Aki, Mabinu, this thing pains me, God, because I'm an entrepreneur and I like Sujimoto. Okay. We done a lot of business, more than 300, 400 million naira over the last 3 years. And then we did the last one of 50 million naira, and I paid, and I was owing you 6 million, and then my own client was owing me millions of naira. We went, easy. We did everything, and then this woman went to zone 2, wrote a petition at zone 2. Zone 2 came to my house. No invitation. They did not invite. They came to my house. They were on my street. The woman called me. Oh, Alaji, we're now on your street. Oh, you think that we cannot find you? Okay, what are you looking for on my street? My security called me and said he's been noticing a car going up and down, this. And I said, don't worry, I know them. So the police person now called me that hello, Alaji, well, you just said your house. I said you can't come to my house now. You can't come to my house without inviting me. It's not possible. You know my office, you know my house. Why didn't you send the invitation through WhatsApp? They said they were calling me, but my number did not go. How did you not get me now? Cut long story short, I said, you know what, let me have my bath and I will join you guys. I took my bath, told my driver, okay, let's start going. My driver did not know that, my security guard had already called me. The car was trailing me until we got to Onikon. But when we got to Onikon, I got down. You know the way they always do? I said, calm down. We've been seeing you. That's why I told my driver not to run. We've been seeing you from the mirror. What is the problem? They said I would submit a phone. I said the phone, or the Kasha Maforogun. When we got there, they now brought out paper. They wanted to start asking me questions. I said, you are talking to a contractor. You cannot be asking me questions when I've not seen the petition. Then they said, what do you think you are? You are in zone 2. This is not the... I said, Baba, even if I'm in Alagbon, which is headed by DIG, or I'm in FCI in Abuja, you won't tell me that there's a petition behind, and you start questioning without missing the petition. So I already called my lawyer that I'm in zone 2. The guy shout came. So one of the CPs came in, I was, I normally shout. I was shouting in their zone 2. Mo kigbe. A CP walked by and said, hey, young man, what's the problem? I said, hey, when they brought out the petition, Akin, do you know what the woman wrote to the petition? Threat to life, 419, I'm telling you, sexual assault. I'm telling you, those are the things that this woman wrote. So by and large, and for the lawyers here and for Akin, you have a voice. By and large, the contracting business, number one, is a dog eat dog. Number two, it is full of so many crime and fraud. Number three, there is no serious ethics there. So for me, I cannot speak for or against anybody. However, I think that we also need a special court for contract resolution. You see that contracting that people say you go to court, Baba. I have read cases that lasted 15 years. Baba, you are only 1 billion naira. How much do I have in my account? Maybe I have just less than 15 million naira that cannot last 2 years. And you are telling me to go to court. That will take 15 years. That will take 20 years. So for me, I think there should be a special court for contracts, disputes, resolution, or whatever.
But isn't that what industrial court is for? I mean, am I getting it wrong? I mean,
Industrial
Dr.
court is
Bao.
for labor, union,
Okay,
labor,
okay,
worker.
okay.
Osaki Mimi, Osaki, all those rubbish.
Sexual,
I don't
sexual
want
assault.
civil. I
Yeah,
don't want,
Macros.
wait.
Yeah, look, there's nothing you said that is far from what we are discussing here. And listen, me, I don't. Again, EFCC invitation, okay. And I was telling Oduayo, his lawyer has been to EFCC. So waking up and doing a publication like he's on the run, and I think there's something going on here. And for me,
Let me
this
tell you what is
conversation,
going on. Let me tell you what is going on, Akin. Let me tell you, Sujimoto is not a small boy. He could be 45 years old, but he's not a small boy in the industry. He's not a small boy in this country. Sujimoto not allow on your line now. Sujimoto has people that he can call. What they want to
but so
do,
so 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 let's go into the political realm. Because when I woke up this morning and I saw the message, the first person that shared that thing was an APC appointee. I
Aki,
said,
fi
articles,
politics
hold
ile.
on, hold on now. Hold on, wait now. You know where I'm going with Macron. It says articles ally Sujimoto. Listen, as you said, Suji is not a baby. If I'm drinking whiskey with Suji, we're probably at Oni's private court discussing how we sponsor jam for young kids. I'm talking about my outreach. Suji is complaining about, economy and FX prices. I know where I meet Suji. Suji is not a baby. That's why I'm telling people, you are rushing to Twitter, you are commenting, you are kicking, you are kakakaing. Everybody has their crisis. You are one crisis from being a criminal in Nigeria. Macnoon, you see what you just said, eh? I have friends that call me 4 a.m. in the morning. Please, I need help. Send me a lawyer. My landlord that I rented a place from to do Airbnb is accusing me for threat to life because I said I'm not okay with the increase in rent. Can you imagine? And before you know it, it's EFCC at their door.
Aki,
We
just
have
say land up so
bastardized.
that I won't forget what I want to say. So for me, the first thing that Sujimoto needs to do is because he has a lot of other projects that people have invested in. You need to call your investors together and tell them that, you know what, I'm going to handle this thing, because what they want to do is to embarrass you and spoil your reputation. You know why? Sujimoto is a contractor that does not need government funds, government contracts to actually thrive. He has shown it. But Sujimoto is also operating in a space where trust is that currency. The trust that people will pay your money off plan, high net worth individuals. Off plan. So what they want to do is see, Baba, it is not about Enugu State. What they want to do is to destroy that reputation. I'm sure Sujimoto, as a young boy, young man, he would have gone there to call their bluff. Baba, before I came to Enugu State, I've been making money, and don't people don't about take your contract, I will refund your money. And then, okay, the response will be, we are going to make sure that we destroy your reputation. So that investors forum, stakeholders forum, he needs to call it and assure his investors, his off-takers that, don't worry, we're going to get this battle sorted. The second is that, Babati Suku, Bokoma Sukuma, you should not cry again. You cannot cry. Come out with a bold statement also. If you have to expose everybody. Get your lawyer. Tell your lawyer the truth. Baba, not to call your political people. Baba, see, let me tell you something about these big men. You see small boys like us, they know that we can open our mouth to say anything. Baba, they will call everybody together and then they will resolve. But for me, first thing first is to let him make sure that his investors see confidence is there. I've delivered projects over this while. This is a contract dispute. We'll get this sorted. And then get also, something that is outside of litigation. They want to embarrass him, you should embarrass them back. Embarrass the governor too back. Send something to Linda
No,
again.
he will
Let them
lose.
just
He will lose at the end. You don't embarrass government back. You just need to find a way to work this.
somebody. That's what I'm saying. Somebody. So for this kind of fight that you are fighting this person, these people are friends. These people have a lot of mutual friends that they respect. For them to have come out to come and publicly embarrass him, he must also let the governor know that Baba Mita can embarrass you. The people that can talk to both of them will now say, what is wrong with all of us now? Oh, yeah, everybody come. Because for me, he's a private sector guy. See, if he was a normal government contractor, I don't think Akin will open space. So. Because it's a normal government contractor. You people know how you do your things. But let me not hug the mic. Thank you.
Macron, listen, I like when people that are in the space, speak because your it's what it is what it is. And as I've said, and I'll continue to maintain that if you have not built for yourself in Nigeria, you can't understand the pain that's involved. A lot of times when I tweet, people say, oh, you're arrogant. I say, listen, anything that made me go to a governor's office, call an essay, all this for what to eat, God, don't ever let it be my portion in this life. That's my prayer every day I wake up in the morning. Because here, the minute you get a contract from the governor and his family members, to his cousin, to his chef, that want pepper soup to eat the day they sign that contract, to the security man that opens the gates for your Prado to drive inside, for the houseboy that will watch your car, that did not send him work. Message, feel like you think your shit does not stink. Oh, because my guy gives you chair to sit down and you think you have made it in life. And everybody trying to sabotage your project. Again, this is the pain. When Suji went into those communities, when he went to bush, let me say, like if you're Enugu, God bless you, Enugu is a fine city, it's a fine state, but you have bush in a lot of those communities. When Suji used to go into those bush, he used to share videos on our WhatsApp, like, Suji, how much are you pursuing inside bush? He said, no, I just love that we are building schools. He had no business building community schools or smart schools, whatever you want to call it. And as I said earlier, sometimes don't even confuse your customers or your clients, because if I see Suji building schools and I want to bring Suji a $40 million project to build me a high-rise building in the Banana Island, I start feeling confused. So yes, as much as my friend, he's not without criticism or blame. But one thing we will not do here is to give a government agency that is known with a capital K for being wayward. Three-quarters of the cases in the EFCC have no business in the EFCC. That's why you have magistrate courts and you have courtrooms to resolve these civilian disputes. But everything is EFCC. They'll seize passports, confiscate documents, lock people up for longer periods than they should hold them, because, again, one person has the longer penis than the other person. I've even seen my friends, big boys, drag themselves to the EFCC. Oh, I will show you. Because everybody has connection. It's just a question of who can pee the farthest. Let's stop it, man. Like, I mean, it's just frustrating. I've had situations where staff stole money. And I went to local police station and I opened a case. And I said, okay, a case of theft within the ambits of the law. I'm not going to go to EFCC to say, oh, let's freeze the person's bank account and let's drag his mother and his father. That's what Nigerians are fond of doing. It's become a habit. It has to stop. Now, McNoon, yes, what you said is right. There are many young men, young women that are actually going through contractual disputes now that are probably in EFCC. Have they come to me in the DM and say, oh, they need my voice? No. Well, will I take it upon myself to go seek out those cases? Probably not. They are not my friends. But me, I'll say like it is. I have a bias here because he's my guy. So I'm not here to paint him as Jesus Christ or the second coming. But I'm just saying, if we do things properly in this country, let's do it because the world is watching us. A guy like Sujimoto is a Nigerian brand. I don't care how much you fucking dislike him. Suji is a brand. A lot of people have been tweeting rubbish the whole day. Again, let this case pass. I will come after some of you. But I know many of you that carry money and run. And they are looking for you, but you're on the timeline. Tweeting, oh, Suji is a fraudster. I'm just saying. Throw your stone or throw your rocks, but as a country, if I want to attract an investor and they read this case online, they'll be like, what's the EFCC? They'll ask me, what's the organization? Are you supposed to be in a courtroom? So I'm just saying, let's not make it culture because everybody does it and it's become business as usual. We can draw the line and say, okay, you know what? Hey, these are the cases, these are the scenarios where it is okay. And McNoon, I like what you said there because for many young people that are probably considering going into political entrepreneurship, is what I call it, being a government contractor. You're an APC supporter today, you go to Abia to go and collect Labour Party contract under Governor Oti. Halfway through the project, they say, oh, he was commenting last week abusing Labour Party. And they start frustrating you. We shouldn't be a nation that does that. That is backward, archaic, very outdated behavior. Anyways, let me roll the mic around. Let me not feel like I'm talking too much. Dr. Pebawo, great to have you here. I know you always have a voice of wisdom as a legal practitioner, as a lawyer. You have a courtroom. In fact, I watch your court shows sometimes. I don't know if you manage any cases like this in your courtroom, Dr. Pe, but let's hear from you, sir.
Actually, I did. One of our episodes actually have that incidentally. This kind of situation is just heartbreaking, and I think McNoon actually spelled it well. The primary objective is to try to embarrass and destroy the credibility of this man, and his empire can collapse because when you have the kind of thing the man does and they destroy your credibility, every other project that he has can start to have a problem. That's what is heartbreaking here. I don't want to comment much on the facts of the matter because the truth is I'm not very educated on it. Yes, I'm trying to read up to even understand what the issues are. So I'm going to leave that part because this is a very sensitive type of thing where business. So he even gave personal examples. So there's really not much I want to say other than to say that this is why it is so difficult to do business in Nigeria. Even if somebody did something wrong, this is not the way you do it. EFCC declaring, I'm probably going to pull it up on my show, one of my shows in the coming week. I want to talk about EFCC and their penchant for actually exceeding their authority. I'm not going to dwell into the specific facts of this case other than to reference it. You can't just go on TV or wherever and declare a very well-known man wanted. You have not gone to his house. They've not sent him letter because that gentleman, from what I can see, if they ask him to come, he will have gone. So why declare him wanted? And at some point, people need to be reacting, and that is the part I want to dwell on more. When the matter is finally resolved, why can't Sujimoto end up even suing this EFCC for damaging his business? To discourage them, people will say, don't fight government, don't fight government. Government gets bolder when they do this stuff and you resolve it. we'll just act on the money, we won't hear anything again. The matter, but they destroy people who didn't know this man before. They are forming opinion right now. I have no opinion of him. I'm not in the real estate business. I don't even know him, to be honest. Until this came up, I don't know who the guy was. The person I know in real estate is Stephen Akitayo, is also going through his own. He also does a lot of big projects. So I just think that the authorities should understand that it's not just about this man. When they damage him and damage his empire, a lot of Nigerians who work with him, who work in the government, who work in his company, are going to be the losers. He will be fine from what I can see of him. He'll be fine no matter what they do. So that is the part we as activists should dwell more on. You can't just violate people's rights just because you can. Because you're a government, the next thing you do is tell them to go and pick up a man where people are sharing money, like Macron hinted, all these big projects, there's a lot of stuff that go under. And I agree with him. But of course, if he wants to do long-term business, some people will advise him not to do that. I will call everybody out. Okay, if the governor or his people have collected money and messing me up, I am going to then Mama Kabi Bakani for everybody. Say for all of you, knowing that I'm done with them. I don't do government contract for this very reason. I know a lot of top people in APC. I'm not an APC. Everybody know I was an obedient until the last 1 year, but I never went to any of them, and I still won't go. Why? Is the easiest way to mess you up. My friend, if I go and call them, they will give me contract, but the day I then decide to criticize Tinubu, that is the day my life is over, and then they mess you up. So, and it's sad. It's very, 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 very sad. I feel bad for the gentleman, not knowing the facts of the case. So for all I know, he's even guilty. I don't know. But you don't just, by declining him wanted, they've already ruined his reputation, because 70% of those who are talking, I'm reading as you guys were talking, trying to educate myself on exactly what are the issues here. Many were abusing the man. They don't even know him. Maybe they are envious. Maybe people, the way people are want to form opinion today. No matter what happens tomorrow, in 3 years time, oh, that's Sujimoto guy, that's guy that went to steal money from Enugu State. Is what some of them are saying. Where is stealing? I'm hearing there's bank guarantee involved. I'm hearing all this stuff. But the guys don't know that. And Enugu State government knew that. So, and they tried to, and it's just despicable. I'm going to speak about that regardless of the issues. That's not the way we build a better Nigeria. If it's a bad guy who has not acted in good faith according to contract, then you deal with it legally like that. Okay, you don't just say declare people wanted. EFCC too, that is declaring people wanted. But by all those people that stole money in government, they don't go and declare them wanted. A whole governor that they are looking for went to their office and said, okay, yeah, arrest me. They are saying because he came with other people, they won't arrest him. That guy in Kogi State. So now it is a young man that is trying to hustle and be somebody and help people, that all of a sudden overnight they bring out a wanted notice. That was my first thought. I didn't know Sujimoto before. That why declare this man wanted over what? Government with a contract with the Enugu State government. Oh yeah, one gun you. But for other people, they don't do that. So that is my own issue. Okay, but you apparently know the guy a little bit more, so you know his business ethics and all that. Today is what I'm hearing for him of the first time. I don't do real estate. But it's not fair what has happened to him over the crime wanted. And at some point, business people like the Magnus, they should be pushing back, because you get more of what to permit. I'm a big believer in that. That's why you see me fight anybody anytime. Because if somebody comes for you and you keep quiet, they're going to do more of it. So business people are an endangered species in Nigeria. So you're now afraid to do your work. You have to keep satisfying commissioner. You have to keep satisfying governor. And the minute you don't speak their language, they ruin you. That is the issue for me. And that's where I'm going to leave it for now, because, again, I don't have too much facts about this present case. And I'm always very hesitant on commenting on issues like that until I know. But the methodology is very bad. I'm going to address that in my own show. Government shouldn't be doing that. EFCC should go and meet their mates. They should go and meet the people that they set them up for. EFCC has got nothing to do with contract. They have to do with people who stole money in government. Many of them are still walking around. Okay, that's their job. My Ogada is wearing fine suit all over the place. Nice man. I liked him when they appointed the EFCC guy. but it's a fuck up. The last 1 year, it's not going to do its job. It is to be harassing 47-year-old boys who are trying to grow our economy. No, that shouldn't be. That's all I got to say for now. Thank you, Akin.
All right,
Dr.
thanks, Dr. Pep.
Sorry,
Yeah,
can you
go
put
ahead,
us in
somebody.
your program? Sorry, your program. I'm just hearing that for the first time. For those of us who don't know your program, can you enlighten us?
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you talking to me? Sorry. Oh, yes, my show. I have a Okwebanwo Live and Unplug that I do every Friday and Saturday. I have one for tomorrow. Typically, I do like a 6 p.m. Nigerian time where I take up a big issue and then I analyze it or bring in a special guest to come and talk about the issue. So this one is a hot topic that I think I'm just going to share what I have tomorrow and address it more. Because as Niger Lives Matter, we are talking more about the life of every Nigerian mattering, regardless of what happens, regardless of the issues. And on this one, I'm on the side of business people in terms of government protecting them, even if he misbehave. You still protect him now because it's not just him that goes down. If his business goes down, a lot of unemployment will arise. A lot of investors will lose money. So you handle those people. Even in America, they don't just come and pick you if you're a big person in business because they understand that whatever happens to you, there's a larger issue for the economy. And my heart just bleeds when I'm checking. I'm seeing that this guy's a young guy trying to do his thing. This could be Stephen Akitaya tomorrow, and I'll be running mad because that's my guy. I know him. I don't know his business. I don't do real estate, but it's my boy. Okay, and he himself is just under 40. So does it mean that they can just pick him up or decline wanted if he has a problem and they won't go to court? That's why we want to speak up, and that's what I'm talking about. Thank you, guys. I have a program in 1 hour, by the way, so I can be leaving. I want to talk about monetizing Tinubu economics. So that might be and I want you there, by the way, Aki, to moderate for me. Thank you.
I'll try and come. If it goes long, I'll come over. Thank you, Dr. Pep. Macnoon, you have your hands up before I go to Jafar, but I want to take a few more speakers. Tomiwa, you'll be next. But Macnoon, you want to say something quickly before Tomiwa goes? Okay, Tomiwa, go ahead.
Enugu Akin, shout out to you for always speaking up. As a fellow Ikpetu brother, I'm always proud of you bringing up these issues and for trying to stay neutral regardless of
We
where
have one matter. Oh, this is our KBC matter. We have not talked that matter, but we'll talk that one later.
we discussed it that day in Miami, but we can follow up because we need to sort it out. But yeah, I just wanted to add three things here, three major points. And there are three principal actors. We have the Enugu state government in whatever capacity, be it the governor or whoever awarded the contract, commissioner of works or commissioner of education, as it were. We have the EFCC, and we also have Sujimoto, who is an established real estate developer in Nigeria, right? It's pretty well known. Whether you like him or you don't like him, he has work that is established. Now, the first issue we have in Nigeria is that anybody can use any law enforcement agency to jail anybody. My own staff who was extorting me has threatened me with EFCC. I'm a tech entrepreneur, I'm self-funded. I had a staff working on the project. He lost the project and he was extorting me because he didn't want to give me my network keys to continue with the APIs. When I, tried to mediate with with my management team, and this staff is an individual contributor, he started threatening me with EFCC that I need to pay him a certain amount for him to give me my own proprietary property, which is in alignment with the contract that he signed when he started. I had to settle with him because I didn't want EFCC trouble, and I also don't believe in escalating because I could also call the DIG or AIG or find somebody that knows the IG. So this is what we face on a daily basis in Nigeria. Anybody can use DSS to arrest you. Now, what people tend to do is they will go to the court of public appeal. That's why you have the likes of Very Dark Man, the Scotty Gunners, and so on and so forth, the Linda Ekejis, and all the other blogs. They either try to, defend their case or they try to smear someone else, which is what is being done here. This is not the first or second time that Sujimoto has been declared wanted by EFCC. You can go and look it up. Whether those declarations were valid or invalid, those are subjective discussions. But we need to get to a point where we are not afraid to do business in the private or public sector because of the threats of somebody using a law enforcement agency to arrest you, pick you up, freeze your account, seize your assets because of ego or disputes. For all of us that are business people here, we all know how it goes. Business can go south, we can disagree. That's why there's mediation, that's why there's arbitration, that's why there's a court system. So ultimately, what do we do? How do we actually change the system so that this does not keep on coming up? Because this is tarnishing our ease of business. This is the reason why several multinationals have sworn off doing business in Nigeria. They get a contract with the government, they sign an MOU, they sign, advance, whatever it is, they sign it. When it's time to execute, things go south and they arrest whoever their country manager is or whatever the case may be. They start freezing their accounts, they start making life difficult for them. Nobody wants to do business in the jungle. We all want to do business in environments where our rights will be defended, the business rights will be defended. The third part is caveat emptor. If you are doing business with the government, you have to always keep that at the back of your mind that it can go south and that your means of recourse are very limited. My father was a government contractor. I know how much various state governments are owing my father till today, right? He's now retired. This is 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the line. You take your payment sheets or whatever sheets you have to the next administration or to whoever's in charge, and they tell you that OT law is gone. And you have to move on and you count it as cost of doing business with the government. The government is also the biggest employer of labor in Nigeria. The government also has more capital, at least available capital, than most of the corporations put together, right? If we're looking at market cap and such. So it's also that a lot of us do want to play in that space because there's money to be made, which is why we're in business, but at what cost? Me, myself, I've not made a dime for government. I'm saying this for those people that will say that I've not made a dime from government. However, we always have to consider these things as Macnus mentioned when you're doing business with governments. If an individual contributor in a small company can threaten his CEO with EFCC, then of course any government can pick any contractor up and publish it on public forums and ruin his reputation. Whatever you think about Suji, that's what you think. But at the end of the day, the means by which they are trying to prosecute him are faulty. That is just the truth. If you believe it's fraudulent, those are your beliefs. If you have your proof, that's your proof. If you believe he's legitimate, those are also your beliefs. But you do not arrest somebody for a civil business matter, neither do you declare them wanted. The EFCC is for criminal issues, and especially if there's precedents where they've gone to courts and come to some agreements in the civil courts, then why are they now bringing it to points where they are declaring him wanted and he is having to then defend himself in the court of public opinion, being in tears and such? That's unfair, and that honestly is not what the rule of law was established for. Thank you so much, Egwaki. I'll reach out to you.
EFCC is not even for criminal, it's for financial crime.
Yes, financial crimes.
Anything financial, not even all this, oh, I fight you, fight me, go and grab EFCC, or I steal your car, go and grab EFCC. That is not Nigeria. God.
So the issue is because money is involved, they try to, it's very vague. So they try to link anything that where money crosses hands over a specific threshold to use EFCC. And unfortunately, it's they pay for play. Unfortunately have to say this: you can pay most Nigerian law enforcement agencies to arrest or prosecute somebody else.
I wish they catch Macno. I could be happy.
No,
Akin,
I
let me
will be
give you
happy.
good.
He's my enemy, but I will be happy. He's a man trying to hustle. I will probably help him.
Yeah,
It's
he's been
crazy.
fighting us for the past 1 year. If they open for 1 year now, I shall be very happy.
Mr. Somebody. So first thing first is that so I am a very ethical businessman, and I also come from a family of ethical professionals. So for me, as a card carrying member of the APC, I have never collected a government contract. I don't think I'm going to collect a government contract until the procurement process is as transparent as possible. That is me. People don't like it when I say it. They say, you don't know what is going to happen. What I want to happen is that we have a portal. Everybody go and bid for this Enugu state government job. Go and bid for this, bid for this, bid for. We open the bid. We see the technical appraiser. We see the commercial appraiser, and the best person wins. But you see this one of go and do this, go and do that. I don't like it. I don't think I can do it because I'm somebody like Akin. My mouth is very sharp, and I don't like to be boxed into a corner. So because of that, I avoid government contracts. I have never taken them. Maybe if I'm going to take a government contract, it's going to be consultancy. I consult for you, you pay me my money, everybody get out. Now, I wanted to speak to those who are already government contractors because we're not going to discourage everybody. Not all of us are going to play in oil and gas. Not all of us are going to be in real estate. There are people who are already there. They are collecting local government contracts. They are collecting this. I cannot tell them not to. So what we do is that first thing first, in all contracts, you must have exit gates. You as a contractor, exit gates. Now, sometimes as a new contractor, and that's why, you know, you know, sorry, I keep trying to analyze Sujimoto's deal with Enugu state government. And I understand that sometimes it might be a strategic move to actually go into building smart cities, using Enugu state as a prototype. And because of that, that's your internal due diligence that you do, the legal one, the one that fits in, the strategic alignment. Does it align with your strategy or your overall strategy? The commercial one. Sometimes we CEOs, particularly we contractors, and we sometimes we throw away that due diligence. So sometimes our team members tell us that, okay, what you are going to go and agree. Okay, we've looked at the finances. It's not making sense. I know I have fell into that trap. I've gotten indebted to banks because of that. So how do we protect ourselves? First, as a small contractor, you have to look at the pros and cons. So I might take an Enugu state job that is going to give me a loss of 20%, 30%. Can I absorb the financial loss? Yes, if I can, strategically I can take it and throw away all internal due diligence. That's one. However, you must also understand the risk. And I think that Sujimoto, because and that's why you cannot fault him. There's a level that you get to in this Nigeria. I don't know about America. I think I thought about America, that when you are having high level conversations, you just start making promises. I've been there. I've been in a meeting with one of the big, downstream companies, and we're with the management. The MD was there, the CFO was there, the chairman was there, the project team was there, the GM of engineering was there, the general counsel was there. We're in his office. Penthouse, they took me up. Young man like me. I mean, I wore Baba the guy. I put cap. I was doing Alaji, big man. My driver too. They were greeting me, and that's why I just want us to learn. I learned. The team burnt my finger, and then we went up and we sat down, and then we negotiated, and then we were arguing on 100 million. And the chairman took me away from the meeting, took me into his. He said, meeting that we were speaking English, I was presenting, I mean, I know how to talk small. Took me into his now and said, well, my dad will my alone jarring pay kini lonso. Meanwhile, they were cutting eyes for me that guy, don't go and agree with chairman though. But that was my first time of meeting the chairman. For me, it was strategic. Chairman of this company in this oil and gas sector. That means I'm going to be meeting chairman from chairman. I don't want to be meeting general manager and MD again. I want to start meeting big. Say you don't. I want to be meeting everybody. So in my head, that was what I wanted. Took me, and then I agreed. We went into that project. We had additional works. We had price escalations. We had variations. I'm not going to mention name. I took San and my father to the man's house. Fine. I want to go and bring my old man at the time. That's someone that's supposed to be enjoying it. I gave him trauma. Because when my father got there and saw the money that we were talking about, when we were going home, he said, What money are you two looking for? We went to the man's house. He sat down. Very big house. Billionaires are enjoying, that's the first time I will see domestic staff that wear uniform. That all this one that I used to, all those Mexican films that I used to watch. Went there, sat down, offered us money, offered us bread. The son is also his friend. And my dad, they started gisting all of them. Me that I wanted to come and beg for my money. They gisting, they offered me food. Me, I said, I'm not eating that, I'm not hungry. My driver too was outside gisting, everybody was gisting outside. We were there. Me, I was just when the man saw, when we started, the man looked at my father and said, This boy has collected billions of naira from my hand. And I look and say, Alaji, billions of naira, bawo, is it for pocket? Maybe having shisheni. And the man said, blah, 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 blah. Long and short of it, we agreed that, okay, on Monday we'll go and reconcile with his management team and then we would submit to him, he's going to pay. And he said, okay, no problem, no problem, no problem. But back till today, we did not get payment. I saw the son one day at the mosque. I saw him. I said, sir, you this, how are you? How far you and Alaji? I hope you have paid your money. I said, he has not paid though. He said, why didn't he pay now? You didn't have called me. When me had already known that the following week, Alaji gave son engagement. The son that followed me to go and beg. The following week, he engaged the services. What do I want to do? So, like I was saying, you have to have exit gates. Part of the exit gate is that you must know when to walk away.
Repeat. Someone that followed you.
The man that followed me to go and beg, I followed me by biological father, collected engagement the following week. So he wasn't my lawyer. So I can't fault him for it. It was an opportunity for him. And that's why I say it is dog eats dog. It's an opportunity for him. He has done it. Maybe when I take them to court, maybe it's one that is going to go to stand up for them and against me. So, I just looked at it. So my own is that first thing first is that you must have your own principles as a business person in this country. If you want to go into government contracts, you must understand that interest will be served. Interest. I don't call it bribe. I don't call it kickback. You can give it any local name you want to give it. I say interest must be served and you must understand it. Now, if you are somebody that works with private sector clients, it's a big deal for you. Big private sector clients, international multi-corporation, it's a big deal for you. What you can do is to have two separate entities. One that does their nonsense government contracts, incentive there and there, go and send money to NGO, go and donate to one man that is doing. Those are the things that they'll be asking you to do. Some will not collect money directly from you, to be honest. They'll go and do it. So you have a separate entity for that. You have the one for your own private, clean, ethical business. Now, the second thing is that you must understand that interest must be served. However, you must also protect yourself legally to the point that when we get there, nothing criminal against you. Don't use your personal money funds to take money. Let it go into corporate accounts. Number two, don't pay bribe to government official. If interest has to be served, sir, you know what? Give me one of your friend that does cement supply. I will give him 10,000 cement supply. I pay the money up front, but I will tell him to supply me 2,000 or 3,000. Whatever he now wants to do with the remaining 7,000, that is between him and you. It gives you the invoice. No, Otumba, I'm telling you, it gives you the invoice. You give him the money. It does that. This is someone that is in cement business. Now, number three also is that you must also find a way to tie the government hands in. They must give you guarantees. I don't know how contractors go and do job that you are financing by yourself at 32% per annum. If I'm going to come and meet Aki and his friends that do all this short-term financing, they'll be giving me 12% per month. And I'm going there with no bank guarantee. It's not possible. It's not possible. And he is also going there without his bankers involved. There's some high-level contracts that you are doing that you want to make sure. You want to make sure, and I'm just giving people expo. You want to make sure that client is banking with your bank. So that the one that, I'm not saying it's ethical, I'm not saying it's good, though. It might be, don't go and be querying people's account, though. I'm not saying go and query people's account, though, but you know what I'm saying. Where they can tell you, oh, they are liquid, they're not liquid, they are liquid, they're not liquid. You know when to go up, you know when to come down, you know when to laugh. Say, Matun, you've demobilized something. No, sir, I've not demobilized. What happened is that, sir, if you see this supplier that supplied me 500 million, I've paid down only 100 million, that woman has been disturbing me. Go. I don't know whether you guys can see him.
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Yeah. So some of those things.
Macron, just take 3 more minutes. Then we'll pass the mic to Show.
Exactly. Exactly.
Or Chikwere.
Exactly. So you want to be as personable as possible. When they come, and sometimes they come, hey, we'll do, sir, don't worry, we're on it. Skeletal work. Don't go full force. If we are doing full truck 200 kilometers per hour before, start doing 5 kilometers, 3 5 kilometers, so that you can save yourself. See, it is better you don't make money than for you to make loss. It is better for you to make loss than for you to lose your reputation. Yeah, let us go ahead. Thank you.
Thanks, Macron. Chikwere, go ahead. Mic is yours.
I
Okay.
can admit that you can't see me. You actually said after Macron, I'll speak.
Can you hear me
Oh,
now?
is that Show or that? Yeah, Show, go ahead. Okay, Show, go ahead.
I've been here since now. I think I was at the point you said.
Yes. Good evening, Akin, and good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to speak to you
Hello, I
finally.
thought I was supposed to speak.
Please go ahead. It's fine.
Okay, so hold on. Okay, let him go. Let him go ahead if he's pressed. Let's Show, go ahead.
No.
Show, go ahead.
I'm not the one pushing to speak. I think it's someone else.
Okay,
Let me
that's
just
okay.
speak.
Chikwere.
It's
Yeah,
me.
let
It's
Chikwere
me.
speak.
You
Huh?
drew a line. You
Yeah,
said
go ahead.
after Macron, I'll speak, and I don't know why.
No, I've been here
Yes,
since.
go ahead.
I've been
I'll
here
wait.
Go
since.
It's
ahead.
I've
fine.
been
Go
here
ahead.
since.
Go ahead.
Let me just speak and finish. I will soon be on the road now. So everybody has been speaking from the perspective of Sujimoto. To be frank, I have not really seen the case file, the sheet, or the full. How will I put it now? The full
Can you speak
investigation
louder,
rationale.
please?
Okay, can you hear me now? Am I louder?
Yeah, it's better. Go ahead.
So everybody is speaking on behalf of Sujimoto. Personally, I've not seen the case file or the charges or the petition that was written against him. So I'm actually assuming that it's just one of those business deals gone bad. I'm not an entrepreneur yet, but I'm an aspiring entrepreneur, and I love to do business. And I love to do business. I understand that as an entrepreneur, it is not really easy, especially when you're working with government. It's not really easy. But then let me drag our attention now to the aspect of the government. Now, imagine that you're a governor, right? And you have mentioned that you want to build so number of smart schools. You have mentioned that you deliver them in so period of time, right? As a governor. And this project have been awarded to people you feel are competent, because I don't believe that Enugu state government begged him to do the project for free with his own money. I'm sure they paid him money, and I'm sure that he was interested in doing the project. Whether it's not his cliche or it's not his field, I really don't know. But what I know is that he was contracted from the beginning, because I was even happy when he announced that he will be building one sort of city in Enugu State. I posted about it, and I was saying, nah, this is nice. At least we have a good um, proper estate in the state, which is entrance into the real estate business in Enugu State. So I was really happy about that. And I was not aware that he came along with the contract of also building smart schools. So I was seeing his post when he posted about smart schools. There is building smart schools for Enugu State. I was like, fine. I'm sure that he can deliver a good job, because he's known in Nigeria as somebody that does competent job. That is what we know him for: luxury and touch classy jobs. So I'm sure that the Enugu State government expected that from him. That was why he was given the project. I don't know what they agreed on, the amount they agreed on, but I'm sure that the governor thought the amount they agreed on was to deliver the project. Because let me also mention here that the first place that was this smart school project was built, but it's a project that the governor wants to build in all the 260 wards in Enugu State. The first place this smart school project was built was in his hometown, Owo. It was his personal project that he was doing even before the election. So when he won as a governor, he was like, okay, I think we can replicate this in all the states. You understand? So they decided to use that same design, to replicate it in all the states. I'm sure the governor, the money or the fund that they used to fund that project was what he had in mind that will do or work if they are replicating it for all the states. Variations happen.
And trust me, if I'm a contractor, I will take note of that. Personally, I do electrical work. I'm also a designer, but I do the both of them. If I'm given in my own little space, my own little job that I usually do, if I'm giving you my quotation, I mention it there that if this quotation pass 1 or 2 weeks, definitely we have to renegotiate the price again, right? And in my own little way, sometimes I actually buy material immediately just to avoid increment of price. But I'm not talking about my own little way now. I'm sure as somebody that have been doing engineering projects and building projects, he is aware of these things, and I'm sure he knows how to play around these things. I don't know what happened, whether it is negligence or whether something else happened at the background that we are not aware of. But based on what I've been hearing and seeing so far in the media space, I think we have to also consider what the governor will feel if a contractor that he gave project to deliver is not meeting up expectation. The people will not be happy. Already, he's even having bad reputation regarding that project. People are saying that he gave the project to that cannot deliver, and they are doing substandard project. If you go online, you see the post. People make videos of the building. I'm not sure if it is the one that Sujimoto is handling. I'm not sure, but I'm just saying that that is what is trending currently. So I don't know who is really wrong or right, but I'm looking at I'm trying to look at from the governor's angle, right? You as a governor giving us a project, and the project is not properly delivered based on what you've agreed. You understand? It will not go down well for your political career, even as it will not go down well for Sujimoto too. If since the FCC has actually published in wanted, which I'm not really a fan of. When I saw that, I was like, what will warrant this kind of thing to happen? That they have to publish in wanted, because him is somebody that I admire his tenacity and his zeal in his passion. A very young man building so many things in Lagos, and his creepers are actually outstanding. So it's something that I really admire as a person. So when I saw his wanted poster, I was like,
All right, so we're losing you. Your audio is faint.
okay, no problem. Let me just wrap up here. But what I want to say is that let's look at it from the governor's perspective. The governor also has a reputation to protect. Probably that's why he's making sure that they have to sort these things out. And I really wish they sort it out. I won't blame the governor or Sujimoto. I would just say let them sort it out. That's what I would just say. Thank you very much.
All right, Chukudi, go ahead. Speak.
Yeah, can I go ahead and speak?
Yeah,
So
I
sorry,
thought you wanted
Chukudi.
you wanted
Yeah,
business
yeah,
director
Chukudi, go
before I
ahead.
show to speak.
Yeah, go ahead.
Chikwere just spoken. I was the one that was speaking since.
Okay, so no, show. Sorry, I'm mixing up the name. Show, go ahead.
So actually,
All
you
right.
wanted to speak.
Thank you once again, Aki, and good evening, everyone listening. Like I said earlier, it's a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for the work you do. I follow you keenly on X, so I saw what you did leading up to 2023 election. Very commendable. And I'll say this before I start talking about this matter. I saw that lately over the last few months, a few things probably irritated you. You're sort of drawing back and all of that, but looking at cases like this, you can see, which of course I'm trying to belabor the point, you don't need to be reminded of the importance of getting leadership right. And that is why I would implore you personally, regardless of things that might have happened, you've noticed that have irritated you, sort of pissed you off, to overlook that if you can. And let's push again, whatever it takes to get the leadership right, because I believe that leadership, if we get it right, will set the tone. And most of these anomalies we'll see will be corrected. Not overnight, won't be 100%, but things will get better definitely. And that leads me to what I'm going to talk about now. I won't talk about Sujimoto and Enugu State specifically in most of my submission. I'll talk around it. I know firsthand experience what it means to have contract with the government. Now, it wasn't me personally, but my dad was executing some contracts on behalf of Ogun State in the early 80s, and the Buhari coup happened, and Oladipo Dia of blessed memory, if you can say that, became the military administrator of Ogun State. Now, Bisi Onabanjo was locked up. My dad went to Ogun State, and I followed my dad in the mid 80s all the way, until Dia left, even after Dia. I followed my dad from Ibadan. during summer holidays countless times to Ogun State to chase the money that was owed, because my dad had completed most of the projects, but it was never paid on, before Bisi Onabanjo, who awarded the contract, was locked up, and Dia never paid, and the person after him never paid. So taking contract from the government is high risk, high reward. If you're going to dine with them, you need a very long spoon. Now, my dad died about 11 years ago. If he was alive today, he would be about 97 or thereabout. Dia himself is dead. Bisi Onabanjo died way before both of them. So this is not something new that we do in Nigeria, that people would execute, they will have dealings with the government, and the government would just use the might that they have, almost like to just beat down the contractor. I'm not saying there are no, erring contractors here and there. There are people who probably try to play smart and not probably execute, or take a contract and outsource it and just take their cut and bounce. But there's a way we can do things without necessarily coming down with the, heavy stick of the government. What's happened between Sujimoto and Enugu State government? I don't think it should have come to this. There's a way we've turned our security agencies into, I don't even know, even worse than woolly. That once you have an argument with someone, like someone rightly said before me, it's pay to play. I think it was Timile, or I don't want to get your name wrong. It's pay to play. Once you have more money than the next person, you go get EFCC. Even on Twitter, you say something about someone, and you see a lot of people, a lot of APC boys, they might get offended at this point, but who cares? They start tagging DSS. They start tagging EFCC to say someone said something. What have we turned our security agents? I just think of the, MI5, like people arguing in the UK, and you start tagging MI5 to say, come and see who Akin said this. Like, who has that? How has that become their job? To start going after people? If people have dispute, it's a civil case. I mean, this is the party that told us, go to court. So why don't they like going to court themselves? Look at the case of the lawyer that the Baba Ikiti, they locked up. Why do we do things like that to one another? I mean, you start to think, is it a curse? Is it part of the colonial mentality that we retained? That when somebody offends you, you just get the police, arrest him, lock him up. Somebody tomato review, lock her up. We just lock each other up. Once you have more money than the next person, you oppress them. It's almost like an average Nigerian is waiting for an opportunity to oppress the next person. It's something that we have to do away with, and that is why I'm looking at it, from a holistic point of view. This is an important case, and I'll go to this case now. Now, going to the case, I would even take it even further by thinking, when we talk about foreign direct investment, Sujimoto is not a small boy like everybody has alluded to. He's international. Spain, Madrid, so many African countries. Based on the way he is being treated right now, how does that feel foreign investors with confidence to come and deal in Nigeria? Forget foreigners. We Nigerians in diaspora, how does that fill you with confidence? Because someone like me, I'm looking at Sujimoto like he's a big boy. If he's being treated this way, imagine me in Nigeria and I have a dispute. When we start seeing people like, our governors, our FCT minister building houses for our judges, it's wrong. Why can't the arm of government that deals with the judiciary, why can't they build houses for the judges? So if I have a case with Wike today in Abuja as a businessman, and we go to court, what hope in hell do I have? He built houses for them. So these are the things that we have to look at. We need to get things right from the foundation. There will be a lot of Sujimotos. Look at the gentleman that owns Landmark. When that unfortunate incident happened, and I listened to his interview, and he said about 6 African presidents reached out to him to say, bring your investment to our country. He's a Nigerian. The way he was treated. I mean, I listened to him and I just thought, these are people who control billions or millions of dollars. What do I have? If I go and play Nigeria with my little kobo that I have, they will just kick me aside and say, what we did to your father in the 80s, we'll do to you again. So I'm looking at it, from a holistic point of view. We need to regardless of party lines, regardless of who's your favorite. I mean, you can't even support the Enugu state government and say this is right. The last speaker said he's trying to protect his interest image. There's a way to go about things. He's an educated man. For all you care is a lawyer, because all of them seem to be lawyers. So he should know this is a civil case. Why do we just arrest each other? I would arrest you. I was talking to a family member. They fixed my mom's generator not too long ago, and the generator packed up less than a week. They said they'll go and use police. I said, in whose name? Police to do what? Please don't go and use police to arrest him. There was a case in Ilorin, similar. They arrested the guy because he was owing someone 20K or 200K. The young guy, he lost his life in police custody because of 20K or 200K. This habit of locking one another up, please, I'm appealing to us as Nigerians. They've said we should go to court. Let us start testing the court. We should stop locking one another up. It's about time that we changed our ways. Sujimoto is a big boy. He will be fine in the end, regardless of what you think. His image might take a hit, but he's a big boy. Think of people who are not Sujimotos. There are hundreds of Sujimotos that happen today. We will never hear about them. They've been locked up in all 36 states of Nigeria. Some people have been locked up today because they owe somebody 20K, 100K. So it's a bigger problem. So until we get the leadership right, I'm an obedient. If it's Peter Obi, I'll be glad. Whoever it is that would set the tone, take us on a 180-degree turn, and this madness of locking everybody up. I mean, Buhari's wife, somebody abused her, said she was fat, carried the boy to Aso Rock. In what year are we living in? So these are the sort of things, I look at things, the bigger picture. Sujimoto is important. I wish they would resolve it in the best way possible. Go to court, test it out. But there are many Sujimotos that we'll never hear about. And that is why I'm pleading with all of us. We can all do better. Look inwards. We can point finger to Enugu state government. But in our little quarters, what do we do when nobody's looking? How do we wield power? Because all of us gathered here in Nigeria, by Nigerian standard, we're elites. How do we wield power when nobody's looking? That's all I've come to say. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Jafar. I see you have your hand up. Otherwise, we take a shake.
All right, thank you. I've been raising my hands up, and finally, I would speak. So, this issue, in as much as we do not have sufficient facts to either protect Sujimoto or to outrightly blame Enugu state government or the EFCC, I would like to stand as neutral as possible. And I would like to speak on the man Sujimoto. So about 2 months ago, I think I ran into a publication about him not being able to pay salaries for almost 3 months. So this draws me to a near conclusion that he has been through some financial chaos that maybe we do not know of, and that in itself can make every entrepreneur, especially someone with his kind of standing and the kind of businesses he does, high-end clients, luxury houses, he wouldn't want to be seen dropping just way too easily. So there are two things I would find fault in Sujimoto. Not because I just want to blame him, but look, business is business. No matter the kind of business you're doing, and for him, as the typical Lagos big boy and doing a lot of business and billions, you really need to invest a lot in business intelligence, and you need to invest in lawyers because you're dealing with a lot of money. Chaos would come, crisis would come. Because I feel ordinarily, if he has, I'm not saying he doesn't, but it's clear that he doesn't really have very good lawyers advising him, because if not, why would you get into a bad contract like this? And why would you even want to switch? The switch is just too sudden. This is someone known for luxury houses, high-end houses, and then no, you're switching into government contract that you have zero experience about. If he had a good lawyer, no matter how much, or the prospect of, after this deal, we might get another deal. And this is where business intelligence comes in. His business intelligence team will tell him, look, Oga, as much as you want to do this, it's too desperate and it will cost you. And I think as a smart businessman, he was going to think, but sometimes we think we're too smart and we want to, take business decisions. No matter, sometimes you see business people having a very fancy organization, fancy offices, but to be honest, it's just one man doing all of the show. And it's bad for business. You might have survived 10 years doing that and you think it's okay, but it's not. Until it hits you so bad and you're in trouble, that's when you realize, oh, this little investment I would have done in business intelligence would have saved me. This investment I would have made into paying all of these lawyers or hiring these good lawyers would have saved you all of this embarrassment. And me, I feel personally, he has been in a crisis that he has not spoken to anyone about. Probably he's been handling it, because I can understand how a Sujimoto, I'm not preempting anything, but I can understand how Sujimoto, cannot afford to pay salaries, and he was celebrating paying salaries of 275 million, I think, about 2-3 months back, and I think even jumping into doing this Enugu deal is just out of desperation. And I've seen him, put out his property that is worth 4.2 billion, and he was about to do a giveaway of 3 point something billion. You could sense the desperation to get out of, financial turmoil. And in all of this, it just goes, you business people, no matter how good it might seem, you handling your business, alone, taking all of the executive decision without spreading out some areas where you do not have strength. It is important that we really, 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 really need to invest in business intelligence. Crisis would always come in business. It's normal. There is not one business person that has not gone into crisis. But your investment in your legal team is what would take you out of it, or what will, lead to embarrassments like this. And for the EFCC part, I don't want to totally criticize, our law enforcement. They can be overzealous. They can be used as, hunting dogs and whatnot. But let's not totally criticize them that, oh, they just want to hunt him. At the end of the day, if there wasn't a petition against him, they won't just, declare him wanted. And I'm sure they might, because of his pedigree, they must have invited him severally. And again, it all comes back to investment in your legal people. You have a good lawyer, you
Yeah,
won't get this
you sorry.
embarrassment. He would go there and
Oh,
represent you
sorry
and
to
everything.
interrupt you, though. I love what you said, but you seem to be missing the fact that you're in Nigeria. Even if he had 10 stands, they will still declare him wanted if they wanted. They will still carry him if they wanted to carry him. Didn't they do it to my friend Dele Farotimi, who's supposed to be a top lawyer? It don't matter, okay? It's the way they overuse government power. You're 100% correct. We need to get our government right. But don't say, oh, how do you know he doesn't have a lawyer? You don't know that. Okay, even if he does.
He actually has a lawyer. His lawyer has actually met with EFCC a couple of
Exactly.
times, so it's not
So they
even
will fuck you up. Nigeria is crazy. If your lawyer talks too much, they will arrest the lawyer too. We see them do it. I'm a lawyer. I've been there. Where when they arrested Stephen Akita went through it. This is my boy that I'm talking about. When they arrested him for what did he do? This was the doing a SMS for Jonathan during that Jonathan and Buhari thing. Okay, they got a contract of 150 million to do SMS broadcast for Jonathan. He went and did it. Of course, after election is over, and Jonathan didn't win. The next thing you know, Wahala start. They just went and picked him up. They're not the one that gave him contract. They're not the one that complained. Even me. So when he finally called me, okay, I knew enough to know that this is not about rushing to court to go file habeas corpus and all that. That one a long thing. Okay, you also have to call people and figure out a way where by the time you are meeting those who picked him up, okay, they can listen to you. It's the way Nigeria works. So lawyering in
Exactly,
Nigeria is different. So
exactly
because
my
if you just
point.
rush and start filing
Listen,
papers,
listen, listen.
your guy will be.
I
Let me
understand,
just finish for a second.
I
So
understand.
if you file papers,
I'm the one speaking,
yes,
you
if you
interrupted me.
file papers too much, you'll be there for 6 months. Versus making your own course, let the big boy talk to the big boy, so that by the time you show up at the police station, they're even ready to listen. That's what happened, and I was able to get him out in 2 days. But me, when I was less experienced, I would have just gone to court, file all these big papers. So okay,
Exactly my point. Exactly my point. You invest in good lawyers. Only a good lawyer would understand. Look, it's not always about making noise.
fair
You'd
enough.
have to
Yeah.
find your way around some of these things. That's what I'm saying. You now, as an experienced lawyer, going to make noise that will lead you also being a lawyer to be arrested. You have experience, and this is what I'm saying. And this experience comes with a cost. And some people don't want to invest in that. You just want to take, just new lawyers that all they know is, what they taught
That's
them in law
correct. That's
school and
correct.
make a lot of noise. No, it's more than that. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You need to pay experienced people, and it comes with a cost. And a lot of business people want to cut that. But you're in a business environment, you should know that chaos will always come. And you have to manage every crisis that comes, because that's the best way to manage and build your reputation. Managing crisis. And you need people to do that for you. And I will tell you again, if he had a good lawyer, his lawyer would never allow him make that video that he did today, because it's going to cause a lot of
Fair
nonsense
enough. Fair
talk and
enough.
whatnot. A lot of
Actually, I
people
gotta
are
go,
saying,
but great talk.
yeah,
I'll see you guys
a
later.
lot of yeah, a lot of people are saying even the video is just messed up and whatnot. Him crying, it's looking staged and whatnot. He could have a written rebuttal or anything could have sufficed. Left to me. So by and large, me I feel once if you're in business, these things are bound to happen. There is not one person in business, whether you're doing it privately or you're doing it with the government, that you won't face crisis. It is normal. Even if you're not in business, crisis happen in life. It's just natural. How you manage it, it's totally your responsibility. And me, I feel probably Sujimoto, this would be a learning curve for him, and I have so much pity for him, and I hope he gets out of this with his reputation still intact, one way or the other. Thank you.
Yeah, so I heard a lot of things you said. Dr. Banwo hit a few things on the head. See, Nigeria is a very weird place, bro. Nigeria is a weird place. You're like a little kid innocently out in the field playing. You're playing soccer. Your neighbor parks a car and you kick a soccer ball and it goes under your neighbor's car. You attempt to pull that ball under the car, somebody can show up and drag you into the police station and lock you up and say you are trying to plant a bomb. And the reason why they are locking you up in that police station is because they want your father to come, because your father has a piece of land they want to buy. So trade off for not charging you with terrorism to blow somebody's car up. They want your father to sell the land for half the price. You are a little boy. You have no idea your father has land. You have no concept of money. You don't even know how the world operates. But innocently, Nigeria is the kind of country where they will use you as a bargaining chip. And I see that all over the place. It happens every day. Everyone in this place that will never come up and tell their stories. And it's just the country we live in, because guess what? Lawlessness thrives, impunity thrives, and there's this thing we do where we tend to applaud executive impunity. Oh, president does it well. After all, he's president. Governor does it. After all, he's governor. House of Rep member does it. After all, he's rep member. After all, he's LGA boss. Who are you to challenge the person? And we need to correct this behavior. That's why I can't go into government. I just cannot. I cannot. I'll be fighting every day. I mean, I will probably go home, my clothes be torn between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. I just cannot, because there are just things I see from afar. I'm like, how do you even cope with this madness? But again, we're only a reflection of who we are in society. People coming up here on stage and shouting that, oh, it's lawlessness. If their cousin or their brother is that governor, they will tell you the governor is within his rights. Because once people have proximity to power, their perspective on issues change. And I don't know what it is as a country, as a nation. It's just convenient. And there's There's no repercussions, none. So sometimes when I see things like, oh, Canadian government did not approve one police officer visa because they say it was part of SARS. I'm like, okay, is that the best we can get out of the universe? But those are the kind of things I'm saying should even be reminders that look, at some point, there should be ways to reprimand people. On the other hand, Suji is not a baby, right? From this portfolio of customers to people he knows personally to the politicians at the upper echelon of society, there could have been backroom conversations that could have been had, but inside all of this, there's still politics. Who are you friendly with? Who is your godfather? Who do you support politically? What comments do you make? Whose ego have you bruised? All those things play a factor. And I'm just saying, until we have a country where even on Twitter, people that would accuse the government equally behave this way themselves. Somebody does not agree with you politically, you are calling the person's job to have them fired. I'm just saying the madness is all over the place. We're not a normal country. But again, inside all this chaos, all this abnormality, can we even find sanity to where young entrepreneurs, people can wake up, do business? My brother, you're talking about business intelligence. I was just asking myself, do I even have enough business intelligence in my business? Let me give you an example. I call my supplier in New York. I book $100,000 worth of sunglasses. They raise me an invoice. They give me a line of credits. I pay 30%. I'm owing $70,000. They ship the items to Nigeria. I pay customs. I load it on the shelf. Maybe I do some wholesale. When I book that deal, I put prices on my product. I price my product at 50,000 naira per item. Then the week I raise the invoice and they give me the credits, my dollar goes from 550 to 900. My brother, I don't now need $70,000 in US value. I need $70,000 in Nigerian value to repay my debt. What kind of business intelligence in this world can shield you from such abnormalities? I'm just saying, so many, many things are wrong. Now, you come back to the bone of contention with this issue with the government in Enugu is variance. 2 years ago, when the governor took office, had a plan to roll out smart schools. You give a cost of 240 million. They waste their time, they drag their leg. By the time they raise you 50%, that quote you gave at 240 million, the now actual cost of doing the work is 350 million. You're saying to yourself, okay, I'll go back to government house to kind of raise a change request of 110 million to close the gap. And governors that go, I'm busy. Let's have meeting. Okay, after my executive meeting next month. After executive meeting next month, oh, let them drop back allocation. And then 8 months go by, and then you pull your workers from side because your money in the bank has been depleted. You are 20% completion, but because of the variance and the FX losses, you are far off from your 50% completion, so you have a delta of 30%. Then this same governor is telling you, oh, show me 50% of work before I raise you additional funding for the project. My brother, the quagmire. Nigeria is not a normal place. For those of you like McNoon and others that do this, God bless you people, because I don't know how you do it. The other day, contractors were crying in Abuja for money that have not been paid for how many months? Over 5 or 6 months. The value of the money some of them will get, they are in debt. So imagine they took loans at 10% on 300 million. That means every month you are owing 30 million. So by the time they pay you that money after 8 months, is now 300 million plus 240 million. Your actual money that you'll be getting back is 540 million. But only guess what? They only give you 300 million in hand. So you are now a debtor. And somebody will now go and raise EFCC case and say obtaining false by false pretense. He borrowed money from me, did not pay at the due date. He's owing me less 240 million from the 300 million refunded me. You now start explaining, oh, I did a government contract, they held my money, they didn't pay me. EFCC again, in their glory, will tell you we don't care. You owe another Nigerian 240 million, go and produce the money. That is the fucking madness we're talking about. So you leave the courts of law for things like that because again, those are civil matters. Anyways, I just find it very sad that again, it's somebody I know that's going through this, because otherwise I'll be living my life going through my day. But there are many Nigerians in this predicament as we speak. There are lots of people that have been left in financial ruins because again, you have an economy that's imbalanced, you have volatility. It's just every madness you can cook up in the book. So I said something at the beginning of this space. As an entrepreneur in Nigeria, as a businessman in Nigeria, you have to be an economic vulture. You start a business at 10 o'clock, try and get your money out by 5 p.m. because you don't know what is waiting for you 9 o'clock the next day. And it is sad, sad, sad. And how many more entrepreneurs can we raise to become high net worth, to create employment, to help diversify economies? If these are the realities people have to be faced with. It's very sad. I mean, I sympathize every day. For me, I'll lend my voice where my microphone can reach. But I say this to everyone with a lot of humility, with a lot of responsibility. You are one crisis from being a criminal in Nigeria. Go and write that down. So anything you're doing, you have enough money in the bank, you feel like you have enough stocks or bonds, please, risk management, risk management, risk management. I always tell people, if I'll go do a contract and I don't have times two, the cost in terms of funds to execute that contract in the bank, I'm not touching it. Because outside of making money, you may just run into a loss. There are people that have gone to their graves. They never got that government payment for that contract they did, or even from private corporations. And it's just a very sad tale in our country. Very sad tale. And let me even now make it worse. Let me even just scatter this table. The worst debtors in Nigeria are politicians. So when they use the FCC to drag the common man on the street, you cannot use the FCC to drag them because they have immunity from any kind of prosecution. Even after they leave office, they are not paying you for that damn thing. You sell shoes, you sell traditional wear, you sell wristwatch. Auntie, sister, brother, collect your money up front, oh. Tobina, mic is yours.
Was I not
All
supposed to
right,
speak
all right.
before Tobin? You just brought
Yeah,
Tobin
yes,
up,
yes.
man.
No vex, no vex, boss.
So hold on,
Shaka,
okay,
may
no,
you
no,
talk? I go
Tobina,
hold
hold on,
on.
Tobina, hold on. Tobina, hold on. She, go ahead. I didn't know you were still here. Apologies, go ahead.
Okay, so hi everybody and hi Akin. It's been a while, it's good. Um, so in all of this, right? And I like what you ended with by saying the fact that every Nigerian is at risk of falling into calamity with on a daily, like irrespective of your social class, anything. You are just like it's one policy, one action away. Like your whole life can crumble in 24 hours in Nigeria. 24 hours is even too much sometimes. And the truth is, a lot of times, the reason behind it can just be ego tripping. Just because somebody's ego has just been born. That is all that all of these things can happen. Because our law enforcement agencies have become our own problems. Like our own law enforcement agencies are not actually threats to everybody's life, businesses and otherwise. Because EFCC right now can go after somebody just because another person, like somebody said earlier on, has more money and crumble that person. Same thing with the police. It's just about who has the more money to pay. But how do we solve all these things? Remains the biggest question because every time, like when we talk about Nigeria, when we talk about the politics, and a lot of people just say, oh, it's politics and all that. People don't understand that politics have consequences. And not until we get Nigeria working for everybody, for the common man. Sujimoto's case now is all over the place. It's dragging attention. Do we know how many more people have been sent to early graves? How many small businesses have been buried just because of such kind of ego tripping by one government parastatal of one politician or somebody who just feels that they are much more connected than another person? And you ask yourself, EFCC will always come out and say, oh, you know what? The reason why we're going after this person is because there was a petition. And one question I keep asking, who vets these petitions? Till tomorrow, I still don't understand why EFCC is a standalone agency, because the truth is, if I have it my way, I will bundle all of them under police. Because why can't we have a system whereby something is safe? Because certain cases should come through the police, and then the police should be able to say, okay, this one should go to EFCC, this is a financial crime, and be able to push it. But anybody, like I saw the wanted, money laundering from where to where, like, you understand? Like, it's just like you just bring broad statements just to be able to find something that stick on the person without looking at the fact that this guy is an employer of labor. This guy, irrespective of no matter how you want to say it, this guy is a critical player in our economy. No matter how tiny, even if he contributes 0.001%, he is somebody that's trying to make a difference. And every other part of the world that I see, The government is trying to work with people. The government is trying to make sure that the people are able to create and support their economy. But what we see in Nigeria is that every time they just continue to grant people. And I think when Peter Obi said this, people did not get it alone. When I think he made one statement and said the rule of law is the biggest currency that we can have, right? And a lot of people just said, "Oh, what does that mean?" What that? This is an example of it. This is that thing that all of a sudden you had an issue with Enugu state government. Unfortunately, we're not privileged to all the processes, everything that's happened. But the truth is, top of our head, we know that if you follow the EFCC processes, you just find out that EFCC would have just been complicit somewhere. They've just messed up the whole thing, but without any consequences. If Sujimoto goes out tomorrow and clears his name, EFCC is just going to walk away like nothing happened. So I don't want to go into the full details in terms of like, okay, Sujimoto on his own side. I feel like on one side, when I saw that video, like somebody did point out earlier, I think maybe the legal team he has around him can be questionable, because how on earth would you be running such a business empire and your response to being declared wanted in a country like Nigeria, first and foremost, whereby our trust threshold is so low, then they declare you wanted, and what you are doing is such cheap video. Like, you're not even well dressed to be able to, like, okay, inspire confidence in your investors and all of that.
Wait, let me ask you one question. You don't see stress on Nigeria before.
No, I can.
Let me just
No,
ask you that question.
I can. There are some things that at the professional level, you're a professional, irrespective of whatever. You're a professional, irrespective of whatever. This, yes, I know that it's going to be very devastating seeing all of that and all that. Maybe calls are coming in.
You don't see problem before. You don't see stress before.
Akin,
My brothers, yeah. They should know where they pay people. Me,
no, but Akin, do you think that that video
I
has
was
gone?
mad. Hold on,
Yeah.
hold on. That video was dropped in a group chat with us, very small group of friends. Somebody put it out because the person felt that was the next course of action. I told Suji, I said, and this is public information. I'm not even, and I said, Suji, no, this video should not have gone out. Next time, please, I beg in the name of God. But again, as I said to you, if stress don't hit you before, you will not know good from bad or best from right.
No.
When it will continue.
But Akin, this is a business brand. This is not just any small business brand. You like we've seen those things with our corporations. Like, you understand, at least the
If there was social media when Otedola was owing 750 billion, would have seen him cry. Just know
Akin,
that.
I don't have a
Peace.
problem with him crying. I'm just saying that it could have been more professionally put out to inspire confidence in your business. You understand? What you've just done now is, for me, I feel like that's even going to like throw him under the bus more than actually, like, there's how he will show up with the decision, and people will start saying like, okay, let's give him a chance here. You know, like show up like a proper CEO.
Listen, I agree with everything you're saying. I didn't support it, but I'm just saying, listen, I can understand how it's easy to have done that because there's a kind of stress. The average entrepreneur in Nigeria is built to be tough and rugged. You cannot become Sujimoto and have all the exploits, challenges you have, and you're crying in front of a camera phone. Brother, trust me, forget this Enugu matter. I know what Suji is dealing with when it comes to FX. In America, the average person that committed suicide 3 times over. When Nigeria were built to withstand the heat, were built to wait for the storm to pass, were built to pray, were built to say, oh, it go better, it go better. Many countries, they swallow cyanide and they find their way. But Nigerians were just tough people. But anyways, I said this because I respect him. He's a very great friend of mine. And Tim at his lowest point, I did not enjoy watching that video. I would say it publicly. But go ahead.
So I think bottom line is, what I'm just going to say is the fact that this is a call out to every Nigerian. We need to get our leadership right, because if we do not get our leadership, because I heard Macron talking earlier on, you know, like we find fancy names to give corruption in this country. We just find ways to make it more accommodating to the ear. But at the end of the day, corruption is still corruption. And most of the times you find it, all of this, poor procurement processes, inflated contracts that are not done up to standard. You know, there's just a whole bunch of things, but we will just slam some funny names to it and just move on with it and think that it is okay. It is not okay. People's life are at stake. A lot of these things that happen have impact people's life, because this is schools we are talking about. So tell me, if a school contract is handled this way in terms of all of this, what other contracts have been handled in these other ways? For somebody to tell you, oh, don't worry, you will make money from here, but you will make money from other this thing. Like, should that be something that even comes from a governor? But these are the things we see in Nigeria. But the bottom line is, if we do not invest in getting the right people to lead us, we will continue this. Tomorrow again, we'll gather for another person, because it is one day, one trouble Nigeria, and businesses are crumbling, people's life ambition. Today in Nigeria, it is very difficult for you to have a vision and pursue it to the end and say, okay, yes, I live my life with a purpose. Because at the end, we're all trying to survive. You even in your business that you were doing before with a passion, obviously, like Akin, your sunglasses business, we saw what happened to you in what's it called? That's the Landmark Beach, right? Things like that shouldn't happen anywhere in this world. But what we're seeing in Nigeria is just this. So all we need to focus on is how can we get the right leadership? And this is a content that when people vote, when you start campaigning for, in your conscience, ask yourself, is this person going to present? Because today you are in APC, you think PDP people that before used to be like, oh, you know what, the government must rule for 30 years to 2030, blah, 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 blah. Today are the ones crying of injustice. You will see a PDP governor coming to say, oh, they are witch hunting me. Witch hunting you what? What are they? You people were they, when they were witch hunting people in the past, what did you do? You didn't do nothing. Today, now, the crisis that PDP used to do to other political parties is now being done to them, and they are shouting everywhere. When all the judges, all the cases, you guys were the one that used the courts to turn them upside down and turn all our constitution upside down. So the truth is, you might think that you're in APC today and it's working in your favor. Any small thing, you tag DSS to people, you will use police to intimidate people, you will go to court because you feel that you can purchase judgments and all of that. Man, the same bed that they used for it today, they will use it for you tomorrow. So please, let's just focus on good governance. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Cam, go ahead. Mike is yours.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. It's been interesting listening to the space, even though I took a break for a while. Now, I want to ask you a few questions, Akin, if you don't mind. And I think that the first question I would like to ask is, if we complain about impunity in Nigeria, why should the EFCC invite you and you don't honor their invite? And instead, send a lawyer. Now, my question is, in some of these developed countries, so to speak, quote and unquote, when the law invites you, even if you're sending a lawyer, I would expect that you will go with your lawyer. One of the major issues one of the ex-governors faced was the fact that he was unwilling to go. Do you understand? So for me, I think that if we're going to talk about impunity, and I have no dog in the race, I'm not for the EFCC, I'm not for Sujimoto, I'm not for anybody. However, how do you define an invite by a law enforcement agency? You are not guilty, you have a lawyer, and you do not go. So that's my question.
So your question as an entrepreneur, Suji does not wake up in his house 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. sleeping, watching TV. He has businesses, he goes to meetings, he has appointments. So if you invite me on Tuesday and I'm indisposed, I will send my lawyer. My lawyer does not now appear, and then Wednesday morning I wake up and I see a wanted poster. Don't you think that is abnormal?
Okay, if truly this is the sequence of events, I will think that 24 hours is a bit of a short time to declare someone wanted. However, I also think that we do not have the full picture of why EFCC wants him. Personally, I will say, now that it has been blown open, if I haven't watched this video, I haven't had so much time, if it is according to him what he has said in that video, present yourself. The EFCC is not or should
Yeah,
not
but
be.
he plans to make an appearance on Monday morning at 9 o'clock. Okay.
That's
So
fantastic.
he's traveling, he's doing other things. But then again, listen, you're an adult Nigerian. You've seen your friends of high net worth drag their friends to EFCC because one person wants to show the other person. It's just Nigeria and how we do things. And for me, I just think it's over the top, to be honest.
So for me, I think 24 hours is a bit too short, right, to start declaring someone wanted. However, because I'm not privy to the information the EFCC have, I would be circumspect in saying it's all about the way Nigeria behaves, or that's how Nigeria is. Many of the deals that go down in Nigeria, which is part of our dysfunction, right, will be unable to pull through. In short, quarter of it will not pull through in other parts of the world. So when we want to berate Nigeria, let us also understand that part of what we seem to be enjoying, quote and unquote, is this dysfunction. And so if we are going to have a better Nigeria, it's not going to happen in a fell swoop. It's going to happen gradually. However, we shouldn't berate the country for what we have made it and for what we are also, quote and unquote, benefiting from. There are very few people on this space who have never jumped a red light in Nigeria. Very few. And I almost will say there is none.
But question, how many of them have red lights that are functioning in their communities today? Before we start blaming Nigeria, let's ask, are we even used to red lights? Are we a society that even invests in red lights? I'm just saying now, what do you think?
Wait, Aki, I'm coming. We do have, okay, so let's even say we are not used to red lights. In the ones that are even available, we jump it. In same countries, that's a ticket, is what Lagos is beginning to have. And that ticket, when you pay for it, you will not like yourself. Unfortunately, in our Nigeria, when such things happen, we will call honorable this, honorable that. That is the dysfunction. That exactly. So at the end of the day, before we berate Nigeria, tear Nigeria down and say, oh, that country is this, that country is that, we need to also have some introspection to ask ourselves, yes, we contribute to this dysfunction. This dysfunction is part of how we function, unfortunately. And so I will be a bit circumspect and a bit careful when I want to, just tear down Nigeria, that country, this country. You are lucky you have an American citizenship, or well, you live in America. But the truth is that you still make good business in Nigeria. Not everybody that is buying your glasses is making legit money. You understand? So let's just try to still praise Nigeria. Personally, I feel very hurt when people tear down Nigeria. Because to be honest with you, some of the things that go down in this country, in other countries, people will be on the guillotine for it. And some of it is how people are feeding and are functioning. Am I happy with Sujimoto's ordeal? No, because he is one of the young 40s, right, who seems to have broken out of the mix of the 40-year-olds who, it looks like our generation is just stuck between Gen Z and the elderly people. We are trying to raise our head so that we can get something. So he is one of those people that one would say has broken out of the mold. However, let us not mix these things together. If I were, I would honor the EFCC. And I'm glad you said he will go there Monday. Beautiful. Rather than send his lawyer, I would have said, just go. Alert your lawyer, alert your friends, people like you who have a voice and you're very close to him, people like Macnoon who has a voice, and tell all of them, this is what is going on. And this is where I am going. If anything should happen, you guys open a space. As far as I'm concerned, there are more than 270 people listening to this space right now, and more people will listen later. So you can always help him tell his story. It's not like before where somebody will go missing and nobody knows where he went to. So let's not use impunity to drive impunity. May we not find EFCC case, but if invited, please honor. Simple. Thank you very much. That's all I wanted to say.
Yes, I agree with everything you said. Well spoken. And I say this a lot of pride. Me, I invest in Nigeria. I vacation in Nigeria. I attract business interest in Nigeria. But where things don't work, I will stick up. And I think I'm even beyond the point where I'm speaking up. Now I'm just observing, to be very honest. Will you see me at the protest ground? Never. Will you see me campaigning for a politician? Never. I am just an ordinary citizen with a Twitter
This
account.
sorry,
Anyways,
sorry,
guys,
Akin. This
it's
is
good to
you
see.
with a new leaf, oh, because you campaign for Obi.
Ah,
So let's just
I've been shouting I'm in retirement. You're not listening. And you have not been listening to me or what? I don't retirement. So I beg you. I am just a civilian. Capital C.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, guys, it's been a fun space. Did not hope to get this going more than 3 hours. Hopefully, Suji's promised me he would come on the space once he honors the EFCC invitation. As Nigerians, we know that there's more than meets the eye. My hope is as they are quizzing him, all the essays that collected 2 million, 1,500,000, Egunje 3 million, 11 million, 60K, 40K, recharge card money, please, prosecute all of them because that's illegal. Thank you. All right, I'm your